looks like there's a go live button, and I think that we are live. We are live. All right, guys. Well, welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. A few days late. Appreciate everyone's patience. We're now in for a doozy here. A live episode of the Rundown, the night tour. Appreciate everyone's patience as I've been celebrating, and to those who might be celebrating today or over the next 24 hours. Happy 4th of July to those in the United States. It's Independence Day for us. It's a big holiday, and since it lands on a Tuesday, it's a 4-day weekend. So last 2 days, my family and I were down at the beach. So a little bit more tan than usual, which you know that I'm a big fan of getting some vitamin D. But again, you know, our goal was to try to record this before I left town. Wasn't able to happen. No one's fault but my own. So this was all my fault. I appreciate everyone's patience, but we're here. We're now down for the rundown episode. I know the last probably since February when I went through the job change and had to get a new laptop and had all kinds of other issues. Probably, you know, we've actually recorded and had, you know, a normal live time of Saturday mornings Eastern time, 10 a.m. Probably half the time, and the other times have been, you guys have been patient. So I just want to let you guys know this hopefully will be the last time that you've had to be patient. You know, we might have another, you know, tour rundown that's not on time, but the goal is hopefully to be more consistent, and I think we can do that. Larry's done a phenomenal job of automating a lot of it, even automated some of what Antilev's doing with his top 10. So I think all the bugs are behind us. I think we've got things set. I think things are settled. So we'll be celebrating that with a live reaction with you guys. So if you haven't left a name in the chat, I'll just go ahead and shout out to all those who are live with us. It looks like we got, I don't know, maybe 20 or 30 people with us. I see Crazy. Welcome to the stud tier. Crazy's I know been I think he was gifted membership and then had membered maybe a different level. So happy to have you as a stud member, Crazy man. I appreciate that. I see Andy S. I see the G Siegel. EXP grinding as he's listening. That's always phenomenal. It's one of the tours. I'm doing that a lot this tour. I think I've already went up 2 levels. Kendrick B, what's going on? High mileage, low rent. Priska, I see Antilev in the chat as well, multitasking. I see Rabbi, Matthew Butler. I see Doggery. I see Eva Taco, Oliver Cardinal, and Marco, and McNasty Filth 45. So with that being said, we'll get some of your reactions as we're recording, which is the fun part of going live. But I have to open things up to you, Antilev. What's your thoughts on the night tour, man?
A lot of things going on. Like, this is probably the most hyped tour, at least coming into it, of the year. And the main reason being that we finally, after nearly 4 years, this game is nearly 4 years old, we have a Donkey Kong alt. And it's a good one. They kept us waiting a really long time, but they did a really good job. It is a really cool alt. He's got the, you know, Roman Gladiator theme. He's called Donkey Kong Gladiator. He's got a good skill, so, you know, I mean, you know, me competition aside, he's definitely going to be useful for you if you invest in him going forward. You know, and you know, 12 new tracks. Moonview Highway is really fun. Loads of extra boxes on some of the variants. You can get, like, you know, 5, 6, 7 boxes per lap. Crazy. And Rome seems like a pretty cool. I dig the night theme. Every single track in this tour, it takes place at night or is in a night setting, and that's like super great. I will say, going forward, this is a sneaky hidden all city tour basically. We have Moonview Highway, of course, and we have Waluigi Stadium returning, but there are no buffs on returning items for Waluigi Stadium because we just had it last tour. Even the one battle track that's not a city battle track is also returning from last tour, so no buffs except for, you know, the new items. So yeah, when we're looking at value, we're going to really be treating, you know, and especially these starting items, we're going to be treating them mostly as all city tour starting items except if they manage to get some good few highway buffs, and when we get to that part of it, we'll see it. Otherwise, you know me, I'm never like super hyped about all city tours. These are some of my favorite city tracks. Singapore and Vancouver are probably my two favorite cities. And Rome is super cool. But in terms of item value, it's not that exciting in terms of buffs. Yeah, I got the buffs list from the data miners, and including all the new items, including all the mid shelves, there was like 1,400 buffs or something absolutely crazy. But when you boil it down to what we're actually getting and what's having the impact on value and stuff, I think there's only 102 of the buffs are on retro tracks. So it's really not that much. There's a lot, some of these tracks we haven't seen in ages. The return of New York Minute, for example, New York Minute N, 1N, haven't seen it since its initial tour. So it's been more than 3.5 years since that one's returned. So, if you look at the top shelf then, there's basically like one driver. If you look at it now, there's, so there's a lot of buffs to fill out there. The 704 of the total 1,040 buffs this tour are on old cities. So, like 70% of the buffs. But it's fun. It's fun to have those back after a long time. Yeah, in terms of value, it doesn't really move the needle a whole lot. But I mean, a lot of people are like super hyped about this tour. I'm not, just because of the fact that it's a city tour, but everything is executed very well. The new Rome track is great. Movie Highway is great. The new driver is great. We got some really cool new other items, karts and gliders. So yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah, we got a lot to get into. I'm just watching eyes on the chat. Have to give a couple of shout outs. So Tyler, member for 12 months. Happy anniversary. I see some people mention in the chat, including Raz just got, he just gifted a membership. G Siegel was the awardee of that. So appreciate the support, Raz. Appreciate you getting some other people, including the members. Obviously, some new people popping in the chat. I see Puffton. I see Thoko. I see Sana, who I met briefly on Sammy D's live stream earlier today. Oliver Cardinal, let us know about, he mentioned some kind of glitch about getting rid of bots. Let us know in the Discord or message us. We definitely would love to, if there is something that we can let other people know. It sounds like it's a Wi-Fi related type of glitch there. I see King Brian, how's it going? Nap02, tour with only night courses, very cool idea and also very unique. Yeah, I think the concept of having a night tour is actually makes things easier. They've been kind of, every year they're trying to make things so that every year they can have the same version of that tour. Night tour 2024 coming up, next year. So I think it's a really great idea. It'd be interesting to see if every year it's also like a city tour, and that's kind of how they do things. Obviously, there's plenty of night tracks in the game. I will say, for someone who did a little bit of pool or beach grinding this weekend, it was hard to see just because of the dark screen. Everything kind of looks black whenever you're looking at your phone outside. So it was a little tougher for that. But no, I think the concept's awesome. I think it's a really great idea. It'd be great to see how they incorporate that in future years. I actually like city tours in general. It's kind of fun to be able to grind these. I would say for me, the top priority is grinding EXP. This is, I don't know, next time we'll see these tracks coming back. I know that some of these tracks actually were for, I think one Christmas I decided I was going to do like a little top 10 tour, and then I found out about 20 people were going for it. So backed out, but I made some investments in some of these exact courses. So All Cup ranking hopefully will be a little easier for me. But in general, when we have city tours also, it is sometimes a little lower when it comes to the benchmark of which people have loadouts going into each of these tracks. So All Cup ranking would be normally a little easier. However, we have DK Gladiator, Donkey Kong Gladiator. So everyone's asking, DK Gladiator or Luigi Knight Gold, which should I invest in? These guys are both coming out. It's kind of one of these things that Nintendo has continued to do, which is release a coin box followed by a boomerang driver. There were a couple versions where they kind of deviated from that, but in general, and that's kind of Nintendo's thing. They kind of like to set up a pattern, deviate, and then go back to the pattern. And so you never know when that deviation's coming, so it kind of keeps you on your toes, which I think is smart. But they kind of like to keep some of these themes. So this theme continued
back a pretty long. When was the first time we had this coin box then boomerang?
I have to feel like the first boomerang driver, which was Shy Guy Ninja. because we got
Yeah.
King Baba Gold like right there.
I was thinking of Kamek and Yoshi Kangaroo, but you're right. It's even before that. But those two came out in the same tour, actually.
They did, and maybe that's kind of
Still,
like Nintendo's way of kind of timing.
but it's still like giving us a choice of, hey, you know, coin box or boomerang. The correct answer is, of course, both, because if history tells us anything, like both of those items are going to be really good.
Now that comes with a huge caveat because we have Mii's, and so in our server, people have been talking about, should I invest in Rocky Wrench Mii suit or Spike Mii suit, or Luigi Gold Knight or Donkey Kong Gladiator. So it's gonna be tough, man. A lot of decisions. Hopefully, as the next hour and a half, 2 hours we go through this, might even be 2.5 hours. Hopefully this gives you some clarity. I think sometimes just talking about it, whether it's in the live stream or hearing us kind of break things down, maybe one little piece of information might give you a little bit. But as always, we highly recommend taking a look at your coverage on all the spreadsheets. As I'm looking back and forth between the live chat and also all of the members, huge shout out to all of our super studs who really kind of keep this flowing, and then also this studs, man. This category has been growing and growing. I know it's we've been getting different gift memberships, but I think ultimately people keep renewing, and people keep saying I really enjoy what's happening in the server. I really enjoy supporting this channel, and that's one of the reasons I keep this going is just really be able to. I mean, you guys want this. It's very obvious, and no one's really doing exactly. No one's been doing this for the last 3 years like we have. So I'm just honored to be here. I'm just honored to be a pillar in the community, and happy to help out, provide this information. And I use almost half of the resources that the community supports through these memberships back into the slides and being able to produce stuff for you guys. So posting it on Reddit as well. All these slides will be available on Reddit. So without further ado, let's get to the long-awaited Donkey Kong we always wanted with a all-city start, except for obviously Waluigi Stadium R and the new highway and Stadium T. So, Antilev, let's talk about Donkey Kong. How do you rate in our new Gladiator?
I want you to tell me, how do you rate my nickname for him? I've been calling him Spartacon, like Spartacus, which I think has like a kind of, it's nice and succinct, and it gives the essence of it. So I've been using that because it's hard to come up with a nickname. Gladiator all the time just sounds a little bit boring.
Spartacon.
I'll let you think about that for a bit.
Ends with Kong, Spartacon. I like that. I give it a B+. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, it's not. I mean, I thought about it for a while. It wasn't easy to come up with a catchy nickname, But anyway,
we need Frenzy Fans Girl on the case.
Yeah, big shout out to all these long suffering Kong fans like Anka and Kevin Garrett, whoever. If they even still play the game, finally getting what they've been waiting for. I know it's been. These are the most patient fans in all of Mario Kart Tour.
Very patient.
So the starting tracks for Donkey Kong Gladiator, you might initially look at his tracks and be like, oh crap, he's only got 3 non-cities. Yeah, that is kind of a worry, but let's remember this is effectively an all-city tour, and if you compare his start to the other new items, it's not spectacular, but it's actually better than most of them. There's not many other items here that are starting with 3 or more non-cities. So the Moonview Highway RT, which unfortunately isn't one of the ranked versions, 2 Waluigi Stadiums RT. Those are the more value tracks, and then 4 new cities. So that's actually pretty cool. We have 8 new cities this tour, so he gets half of them. It's these Rome Fonti tracks, and 3 of them in ranked if you take them to level 8. 4 of them in ranked if you take them to level 8. 3 at level 3. So just for usage this tour, if you're going for ACR or whatever, you're gonna have a great time. If you just want to bite the bullet and invest in him right away, you're gonna have a really good time with ranked. For starting value, again, treat it kind of like an all-city tour item with a little bonus of having those 3 retros started off. And the overlap doesn't seem too bad. Also, you got no exclusives, but you got a few tracks like look at Rome Afonti RT, level 3 unlock. You've only got the Nabbit Mii suit, which is a plus skill Mii suit, but not everybody has that one at a high level. It's not one of the most popular ones. New York Minute R. That's actually these short tracks. It's a city I know, and who knows if I'll ever see it again. But those short tracks are great with Boomerang. The big question is, what is the viability of a non-Mii skill, a non-Mii plus skill driver like Boomerang Coinbox in 2023? We have, I think, now 58 Mii suits in the game. Wow. So that, if you have all the Mii suits, equates to a bonus point advantage of 570 points over a non-Mii. Okay, now everybody obviously does not have all the Mii suits. Like my free-to-play account, I think I have 21, which is still 200 points extra. It's still significant, but you know, when you are a whale and you have all the Mii suits, then you're really thinking, do I really want to invest tickets in something that has such a big disadvantage? But keep in mind, if you don't have such an extensive collection of Mii suits, this is going to be, you know, like my free-to-play account. I have Toad Astronaut level 6 triple cap, and that has been, you know, absolutely killing it for me. He's been absolutely great. And the reason why is because he doesn't lose as much relative to my Mii suits, because I just don't have that many Mii suits, and I know that I haven't had many base points. So, you know, take a look at your own account, see how, you know, I think there's a sliding scale. If you're more of a whale and you have more Mii suits, you maybe wait and see on it. But I think if you're like free to play, you don't have a lot of Mii suits, or you're strict gold pass only, and you're not really heavily into Miis, I think there's relatively low risk in investing in them right away, especially because you can use them so much to rank this tour. So yeah, I mean, I think it's a pretty good start, all things considered. You know, with a whole bunch of but this and but that sort of exceptions.
All right, well, the votes are in. We put a little poll out. We got 22 votes, and you know what? People like Spartacong. So 57% of the 24 now votes. 58%. Man, votes keep coming in. 26, 27 votes. It's unanimous, though. Spartacong it is. That's what his name will be the whole rest of the episode, if you can pull that off. What do you think, Antilev?
I'll do my best. I'll try not to.
Spartacong, awesome. Well, as we did note, we do have some other new drivers. We got the light green Mii suit. What's your thoughts on its initial coverage?
So both of the Mii suits that we're getting this tour kind of have a similar start. This one got Twilight House at Battle Track. One thing that has been consistent over the last 2 tours, the number of battle tracks in ACR has gone from 4 to 2. So we didn't do anything about that last tour because we weren't sure if it was a one-off or not. But since it's been again this tour, we did reduce the weighting of battle tracks somewhat in the model. So they're worth a little bit less because it looks like those 3 retro battle tracks, we'll only see them an average of once per tour, or like 2 out of 3 tours once instead of 2 out of 3 tours twice. So just keep that in mind. Also getting Move Through Highway in ranked and level 8 unlock Waluigi Stadium R. Nice that the ranked track is level 1. And then, you know, some 1 new city and 3 old cities. So it's an okay start. 3 out of 7 tracks are retro or battle. You know, for this tour, that's not too bad. That's, you know, almost half, which is a lot better than almost all the other items in terms of percentage. And the skill, this is, I think, the first Banana Barrel Mii suit we've had. Banana Barrel is like one of the most, I think,
rare
Marmite sort of items in the game. Some people actually really like it. Some people hate it. It's one of those. My personal opinion is the frenzies are great. They're almost as good as giant banana frenzies, especially because the value of the hits with Banana Barrel bananas is like way higher than a regular banana.
Yeah.
But single banana barrels can be super treacherous. Keeping your line while dodging all those bananas, it's pretty tough, and sometimes not possible. So yeah, that's I think comes down to personal preference.
Yeah, you know, I've enjoyed banana barrels. Can't say that I'm super skilled with it, but I actually like it with a frenzy, mainly because as you're shooting in front of you, if you can actually kind of pinpoint where the big giant banana goes, even if you run into it, you know, that makes like more triple bananas kind of going out. And you know, I think overall it's a fun skill. I think obviously with the all these Mii suits becoming such a big part of the game. Unfortunately, you know, the character diversity goes down, but the item diversity goes up. We're starting to use these skills for the first time in years, even in ranked, being able to use Funky Kong or Little Diddy next week. It's gonna be kind of fun. I'm actually kind of looking forward to it. I thought about investing in like the Nabbit Mii, but I was like, you know what? I just gotta go banana barrels, man. It's something about it. it's just fun. So I'm pretty pumped. I'm excited about that. The one good thing about it is now that they've kind of scattered some of the newer tracks into this tour, in addition to being more fun for us, it helps the initial coverage for these new items because if you look here, it's got 3 tracks that should be reoccurring. So I think in past city tours, it was just so tough to invest in things in their initial tour that came out in the city tour. You had to wait and see because it just was such a rough start. Now, there's certainly been exceptions, things like Blazing Eagle that have been able to get out of that. But yeah, honestly, I think this is a positive part of the game. And keeping only 2 battle tracks in a tour, it's super smart job by Nintendo. So overall, huge fan of some of the changes. They've been making minor tweaks that I think add up when you're looking back at it. We do have another driver with Misu here to talk about something that we don't have access to, but hopefully after winning ranked here or at least finishing the top 3, you'll get access to him. But let's talk about the Fishbone Mii.
Yeah, actually a similar start. Also with the battle track in Twilight House, and then getting Moonview Highway R, and Moonview Highway T. And again, the ranked one is the unlocked level 1, and the level 8 unlock is non-ranked, so that's nice as well. And then for cities, unfortunately, none of them are new cities. So I mean, if you have to pick one, probably the light green Mii Racing Suit has slightly better start, but it's really just barely. And then the better skill as well. Bubble is pretty darn useless. But yeah, I mean, the comments are more or less going to be, it's a very similar start to light green Mii Racing Suit.
All right, we do have the new Super, the yellow Shy Guy. Obviously, these Supers, and they've becoming much more interesting. Nintendo in general has brought a lot of Supers to the top shelf. Not always the old ones or the new ones, but I think they've just done a great job of just kind of scattering them in. I think for those who have been so focused on their daily selects and maxing them out, they haven't really been, as focused on some of these guys. But I mean, I think it's interesting. It makes newer players who aren't like anywhere close to a daily selects max out, be able to give some options, and honestly, kind of probably tilts the scales in their favor in that respect. Obviously, they don't have as many tickets, but I think some of us in the meta are just so focused and not wasting a single ticket on items that, and again, I think just in general, when you have a super driver car or glider, it's a stopgap, right? It's going to get you by. I'm thinking right now, like we kind of mentioned briefly, the Vancouver Velocity 2. It's one of those tracks that right now it's a King Boo Cup. So King Boo is obviously boosted on that track. But if you don't have in a normal tour, not that this is going to come back anytime soon, but in a normal tour, this would be really tough coverage. I think I was using like the light blue Pit Grew Toad or something like that. So in this case, I believe DK gets it, or maybe hold on, let me just double check. I don't want to tell you the wrong thing. No, it wasn't DK. It was. Yeah, it was the light green. Light green gets it at level 3. So it's kind of things like that make things interesting. Let's get back to the yellow Shy Guy, though. What's your thoughts on his initial coverage?
Well, I mean, he's got all city. Not good. If you need him for rank, just go for it. Sure, there's not a lot of great options there. If you're not going in for DK, it's a kind of tough top shelf rank to take care of. I think like my free to play account, I'm doing ACR top 1K. I think I'm using like Red Birdo there or something. But otherwise, yeah, whatever. Like, if you get it, stash him, and you need him. But I'm not going to talk about really the value of his coverage because he doesn't have any. So,
yeah, let's get I just saw Larry 98's in the chat. Let's get a thank you, Larry, real quick for those who are watching with us live. I'll put let's get a hashtag.
The bot's mad at me.
There we go. Oh, Antilev, not again. All right, let's get into the cards. We obviously one of the biggest unique cars that we have here is this Chain Chomp Chariot. Love the name, love the look. Coverage. What are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, compared to the other cards, it's not the worst. but only two non-cities, and neither of them is in ranked, and neither of them are the new Moonview Highway tracks. It doesn't really matter that much. Waluigi Stadium, for the purposes of the model, is basically a new track just because it came out last tour. It still has almost the same sort of newness bonus as Moonview Highway, but still, only 2 out of 8 being non-cities is not that great. We talked about Sparta Kong having 3 out of 10 as non-cities. So like I said, that's actually kind of above average for this tour for new items. So this is kind of, yeah, not great, not bad, but it's not amazing. It does have 5 Roma Fonti variants, so, and it's 4 times in ranked. So if you're going for ACR and you want to, blow all your tickets on an item, this could be a pretty good option if you don't really care about the long-term value of your account in that sense. But again, like, just keep in mind, these items, we're going to treat them kind of like they're all city starts, and all city start isn't the death sentence that it used to be, maybe, but just take it all with a grain of salt that it's not so bad.
Yeah, I think one of the hottest topics was the chain chomp size and its hitbox.
It's pretty long, right?
It's actually pretty long. I thought from looking at it, it's like, oh, it's going to be really, really wide, but it is actually really long. There's kind of like a little chain distance between the chain chomps. Mm-hmm. I actually really like the feel of it. The fun is actually.
Have you driven with it? Because I haven't driven with it.
Yeah, I've driven on it mostly just for EXP and level grinding, and also the base points grinding, which I have like 700 ticks. I don't need to be doing it, but I just enjoy. I'm going to do it anyway, so might as well kill 2 birds with 1 stone. But yeah, no, I like the feel of it. At least at 200k or 200 cc. But no, overall, it handles pretty well. I do like the size of it. It's not extra large. We weren't sure exactly how large it was going to be. Rashid still has debated if he's going to get it or not. I got it. It was fun to drive. I think overall, getting something new, getting something that. What's interesting though is like the little I don't know what you call it, like the mohawk of the chain chomps. There's actually it's a different shape than DK's. DK's a little more flappy and like thinner at the bottom. These ones are kind of just like straight up. Anyway, fun fact for those who are really detail oriented and OCD, it kind of bothered me, to be honest with you.
For people who are wondering about the comparisons, it's got the same kind of width and length as the pipe buggies. So those are pretty big carts.
Yeah,
it's not like it's not so long as like the brooms or something,
Yeah, no. Overall, I mean, I think you can maneuver. I didn't have a hard time getting around, but it also felt like I was getting 2 coins when I was going over. It certainly checks off that box of the minimum viable hitbox. But yeah. Let's get to the other the new card that I was actually probably more excited about after seeing it. Is this Yeehaw wagon? You knew I was going to go for it. Yeehaw!
Something for 4th of July, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, it's interesting. Like Yeehaw, it doesn't match this theme almost at all, but it is like, it's more like a southwestern United States type of term, and like this buggy kind of reminds me of the Oregon Trail or something. Where so it definitely is not like, like New York, like anything having to do with like New York Minute or anything like that. But anyway, you gotta like it. I absolutely love the name of it. It's actually even got a wider hitbox in general. So what's your thoughts though, Antilev?
Yeah, I mean, starting track's kind of similar to Chain Chomp Chariot, and having 2 retros, 2 Waluigi stadiums, but then 2 Waluigi stadiums. One, unfortunately, which is a level 8 unlock, so that's really not so great. And then having the rest cities. It isn't ranked twice. It has only 3 new cities and 5 older cities, so I would say that the start is worse than the Chain Chomp Chariot. And I wasn't sure about the hitbox on this one at all. I couldn't find it on Rashid's sheets. I don't know if I'm just like blind or what, but it's big enough. It's like
it's slightly larger than the Chain Chomp is what I'm being told. Okay. But I don't think it's like breaking anything in the sheet or anything. But yeah, it's definitely wider. But not. But again, if I was trying to look for it too, I don't think Rashid had it, but I think we got some early indications from Sam 78IT based on his numbers that they're generally within the same. I think one's like longer than the other, one's wider than the other, but overall they're somewhat similar between this and the Chain Chomp. Overall, though, I kind of like that having my carts a little wider than longer. So Yeehaw kind of gets the slight edge for me in general.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Overall, I just like the name. And I like the original carts. Give us more original carts, man. I don't like all the reskins, gold stuff. Just
I'm with you.
It is slightly. I think that the number of which the dimensions that the Yeehaw is actually larger, but it might be because it's twice the length and twice the width by one of the length. So,
yeah, the width has a higher weighting in the formula, which of course makes sense because it matters way more.
Yeah. Let's get into the less exciting card, the Fishbone Fairy, the non-gold version.
Yeah, so this one actually has the best start out of, I would say, all the new carts this tour. Unfortunately, it's not very big. It's kind of I would say it's kind of medium. I would put it in there with the kind of, like, I don't know how the actual dimensions are, because again, it wasn't a receipt sheet or whatever, but it seems kind of similar to like Sakura Hop Rod or something like that. Okay. So not tiny, but not really a big cart. You could, if it ends up with great coverage, it might be worth investing in, but I wouldn't invest in it because the size might hold it back a little bit. But it does start with 3 Moonview highways, which is pretty incredible. And it's one of the few items to have both the Moonview highways that are in rank this tour. So that is actually quite a remarkable start. On top of that, it's got 2 new cities, none of which are in rank, but it's got 2 of the Realm of Fonti variants, and then 5 older cities. So yeah, it's just the sizes, which is kind of underwhelming, but the actual starting tracks has the best start out of all the tracks this tour.
Yeah, Alex Brymans brings up a good point about some of these cool new items come out in all city tours, and it's unfortunate, but hey, this game is that's just something we have to deal with. I mean, if you like the look of it, though, I mean, I don't know. I've always been the person. We kind of talked about this on Kart Talk. There's kind of a triangle of why you invest in things. One is the funness thing about like driver skills, like the funness of the skill. 2 is the points and like the actual scoring capability. And then 3 is time. So like, do I want a boombox? And so for cards, like, it's not really, it's very simple. It's either, fun or points. And I think that there's sometimes where as long as it's above that minimum viable hitbox, which, it sounds like this one's kind of maybe just below that minimum viable hitbox for me, which I kind of draw the line right that like Lightning McQueen, hint, and then Tropical Truck. That's kind of like where that's like my minimum viable hitbox. For something smaller than that, I'm just gonna struggle to get coins from the coin box or get 2 coins off of a jump. So that's kind of where I draw that line. This one falls below it for me. Not as big of a fan, but I've been willing to make exceptions, like the Sakura Hop Rod, which you see over one of my shoulders. There we go. Big fan of Sakura Hop Rod just because of the look. So if you really like the look, don't worry about what people say. Just invest in what you love. I don't have to tell you that. You're going to do it anyway. But this one definitely looks unique. It would have been cool to kind of see it larger, but it does make sense to kind of have it a little smaller. Let's talk about the same size, different color, Gold Fishbone Fairy. Let's talk about its initial coverage. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, so starting with, is it? Oh no, I'm past them. So starting with 9 tracks. So it's got all of the disadvantages of the hitbox of the Fishbone Fairy, and all of the disadvantages of being a gold cart. It's like it's like that old Simpsons joke. They've bred an animal with the friendliness of a cat and the cleanliness of a dog. It's really the worst of both worlds. One non-city, Waluigi's Land, which only unlocks at 6. It has 2. It has 3 of the new city tracks. 2 of them are ranked, and one of them is a level 8 unlock. So really poor start, but not really a big surprise. We know what gold cards that are especially gold pass rewards are like. So this one would be a big pass for me.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I just feel like with a lot of these items, this is actually, for me in general, kind of across the board, more of a saving tour. It's weird, with so many new items for it to be a savings tour. But for me, it's just like with the cities, it looks like I have Groovy in, I'm in his rank. So trying to take it a little easy, try not to go full throttle. But like I don't know, I feel like it's just I have all these items I want to invest in, so I'm just gonna invest in none of them right now. And I just think with a city tour, that's kind of been really kind of like the chess while other people are playing checkers. It's just like hold off, wait to see how things go. Feel free to invest in if something does take a left turn and turn into a blazing eagle. You have the ticket sitting there. You can invest in it now. No need to invest in anything too early. Obviously, we'll get into a little bit more of the DK. Spartacon versus Gold Luigi Knight, which we still probably need a nickname for. I mean that conversation is going to happen. I think for me, it's going to come down to probably neither one of them, or at least this tour. I think ultimately, if I can invest in a Mii suit that kind of covers some of the tracks, I will. But Coinbox is king. I saw it in the chat a little earlier. I mean, still, I think that last thing I need is another boomerang driver to invest in, especially without those points boosts that I have. Larry and PD Piranha Mii suit. So I know it's kind of a little tangent there, but I think in general, this is a good time, a good tour to save. You don't have to throw tickets on this gold fishbone. You can wait. This tour is not gonna. Now I know that the ranked rewards are really nice and they're good, but you coming out of last tour, man, you had to win last tour. So I think a lot of people are licking their wounds coming into this tour. Might just want to pump the brakes a little bit if you can. Scoop by, try to see what you can do, getting second, third, first if you can. But get excited for these items. It's nice to see how they'll turn out in future tours. Let's move to the gliders. This is one that I've seen a lot of people get excited about. The Rainbow Flappy Wings, which I'm not going to call it the Rainbow Flappy. It's the Rainbow Wonderful Wings. So let's call it what it is. Now, what I think is what I was expecting to see for Rainbow Flappy Wings or Rainbow Wonderful Wings is much more of a shimmery, maybe more of a gradient. This reminds me like a parrot wings. Like it would be much better to see them call it like a parrot flappers or whatever they want to call it. Shout out to Draco655 for 15 months. Happy to have you here, man. So I don't know. What's your thoughts on the Rainbow Flappy Wings, whatever they're trying to call it?
So we had like a token shout out to 4th of July. We have a token shout out to Pride Month here. They're just throwing everybody a bone, I guess. No pun intended. Yeah, like people are excited about this because it's a Wonderful Wings reskin, and everybody knows how dominant Wonderful Wings was if you got into it quickly. Looking at the start, it does start with 11 tracks, which is pretty nice. Unfortunately, only 2 of them are retros, and they're both Waluigi Stadium, so neither of those in ranked. It does have a whole bunch of Rome Afontis, 5 Rome Afonti variants, and 4 of them are in ranked. So if you need help on ranked, you could bring this up to level 6, and it will help you out on 4 tracks or just 3 at level 1. So in terms of long-term value, not great, but in terms of usefulness for this tour, it's amazing. 11 tracks, 4 ranked appearances, 3 of them at level 1. That's incredible. Yeah, as far as the long-term value goes, who knows? All city start. It doesn't have. I would say, we'll get it to it. Compared to the other gliders, I would say it's the medium option here, but quite an interesting one and definitely one to keep an eye on. And it's got the blooper skill, which for me is the best glider skill. Not that glider skill makes a huge difference, but I like blooper more than anything.
Yeah, it's weird to see 11 tracks coming to be released. I mean, I just remember the days of when new drivers, we get like, 8 and we'd be like, wow, look at that. So yeah, I don't know. If you want to zig while everyone else is zagging, I think that a lot of city tours people, like I mentioned, are doing what I'm doing, which is just kind of saving. If you want to go all in on it, like it looks beautiful. I could see Nintendo going in. It is interesting to see if they'll kind of consider this part of the Wonderful Wings family. I think that they will. That's my personal opinion. But we kind of talk about either a family is just like crazy dominant, kind of like how we saw with the 8-bit items, or only like one of them is of a family is just so dominant, and the rest are kind of left for the dust. So we'll see how this one turns out. I think for me, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like because the look could have been better, and this just looks like a parrot. I'm passing. I'm doing a little parrot.
I like the way it looks. It's like super colorful and cartoony. I don't know. That's just me.
It also can be really distracting. I feel like my eyes would just be like, boom, as I'm gliding and not paying attention to the coins around me. Now, I will say one glider I'm pretty hyped on the look, and I actually like more than those Rainbow Wonderful Wings. It's the Mario Bros. Parafoil glider. Let's talk about its initial coverage.
Yeah, this is the one I'm waiting
Less
for.
cities.
This is the one I might actually, even though I'm like saving as much as I can, I have a few more glider tickets on my main account than I have driver and car tickets, and I've been kind of thinking I want to invest in glider. This might be the one. First of all, it looks amazing. If anybody doesn't know this or isn't ancient like me, this is from the versus stage of Super Mario Brothers 3, where Mario and Luigi would battle each other. So that's from, a long, long time ago, more than 30 years ago. But for me, it looks so cool. And have that on a glider. And let's talk about the starting coverage. Okay, only 9 tracks, but somehow in an all city tour, it managed to get 5 out of 9 non-cities. That's absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Brilliant start. And to top it off, it has 3 ranked appearances. Okay, one of those is a level 8 unlock, but still the starting value of this one relative to all the other items is off the charts. It's really good. Yeah, in a vacuum, taking myself only 5 non-city tracks, but it still has all the tracks to see. There's only 2 courses, 8 tracks plus 1 battle track that it has seen already. It's still and it's already starting with 5 tracks, so that's really amazing. I'm going to be picking this one. Unfortunately, it's only available I think week 2 is in the Spotlight shop. But this is one I would really consider going in hard from the beginning if its coverage is useful to you.
Yeah, no, you make a good point. And like, sometimes when these if a new item is released on any tour, it gets all these, you can only walk away with somewhere in the 7 to 11 track range, and there's 45 tracks. So like there's just so many tracks to get access to, and whereas like this now has literally all of it ahead of it, and walked away kind of unscathed with this starting coverage. And honestly, when you think about it getting these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tracks, all 5 of these tracks are literally brand new. Like these are tracks that we're gonna see all summer long, and maybe into the fall.
Exactly.
And like these are the tracks you want. And then when you think about it, I'm a big fan of getting like the same variants, kind of all in like one item. Obviously it's got the mushroom highway. It's got regular. It's got T and R. So let's got all 3 there. And then you got Waluigi Stadium, regular and R. So if you just want to knock these new tracks out, you need coverage for all 3 of these highway tracks. Go for it, man. I love it. I keep this up, Nintendo. I mean, like this, I can't tell you how many battles I've done with my brother. Just this Mario versus Luigi back in the Super Nintendo days. So fun. That's awesome. Yeah. Great job, Nintendo. All right, and then of course we got the anticlimactic glider, the gold flappy wings. Let's talk about its coverage and why they didn't call it Gold Wonderful Wings. This is crazy.
First of all, Your Honor, just look at it. Come on. Come on, look at that coverage. They give you 1 retro, which is a level 8 unlock. Come on.
As bad as it gets.
Terrible. It's not even that. It's not even that there's only 1 retro, which is level 8 unlock. They only give you 2 of the Rome Avanti variants. 7 of the 10 tracks are old cities. And like a lot of them are New York, which is as old as it gets. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 New York minute variants. That's just embarrassing.
It is embarrassing. Again,
I got nothing else. This is
yeah. Shocking. I'm good. I'm done talking about it. With all these new items, again, usually when we have so many new items, we're like, whoa, Nintendo. But like, I'm actually like, as long as they're coming out with good items, like as long as they're not just like, here's green, here's red, here's purple, like like just reskin colors of stuff is just dumb. Give us all like new stuff. I'm all for it, man. With all these new things, though. Good point made in the chat. Toeman266 just says, hey, might need to save 170 rubies for Wiggler and Wiggler Mii if that comes up. So if you're a big Wiggler fan, you might want to hold off on spending all your rubies. Just want to put that out there. What? Just want to put it out there.
GS Eagle made a good point. This is GS Eagle made a good point. This is a ranked war week too, so you can't even use this tour.
Boo. Yeah, that's
that insult to injury.
All right, let's move to the Spotlight shop. Now, this is Monday, so the tour's been out for the last 5 days, so I won't spend too much time on this, but I didn't really get to go over it when I was with Sammy D, which, by the way, if you haven't gone back and seen my tour reaction, I was in Nashville. I actually hung out with Sammy D on Monday night. He gave me a tour of Nashville. Took me to one of his favorite restaurants. An absolute gentleman. Sammy is awesome. So I got to go into his home. He brought me in, and we recorded a reaction Wednesday morning. Probably my favorite reaction of all time. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out. But we did not get into the daily spotlight shop. Hopefully you figured it out since then. But usually the drivers aren't very exciting. This one's a pretty narrow list, and actually I kind of like some of these drivers. Like, obviously Toad Taurus, we got Luigi Knight.
Plus skills there, yeah.
A lot of plus skills. So I think overall, like, this is actually one that you might want to go into one of these drivers. I think as we all are focused in on the Mii's, that's our number one priority. I think I've even debated about dropping a couple rubies into the Nabbit Mii and getting it leveled up a couple of times, just because we kind of talk about 75 rubies is worth a higher end ticket, but when you think about driver tickets, like, man, there's so much. We never have enough driver tickets. First of all, so even if you were to buy them all, you can't level everything up. And then obviously it's a little higher in cost. So there's been times where I've even bought like a tier shop driver ticket because I just need driver tickets so bad. If you think about it that way, getting a Mii suit at 100 rubies is pretty substantial value for what you're getting for it. So for me, even getting the Nabbit suit, buying it once or twice at 100 rubies might be a good choice for some players. I even dropped 70 rubies on the Rocky Wrench just because, man, like, this is the Mii meta, and I think even that's why I always try to throw some cold water on any of these drivers on the Spotlight shop. Is unless you need it, you probably should avoid it because But I will say Toad Astronaut, he's like the one exception. He's the number one there on my list. Obviously, Gold Charging Chuck's been awesome. We have kind of seen maybe a new season starting last tour, but Toad Astronaut has been absolutely insane this year. Like, his value has been crushing the meta. Even for a non-plus skill, Toad Taurus has been pretty hot, and it's been year of the Luigi. So, I mean, if you have to go into something, there's plenty of options there. Some really good stuff. I think for some of the karts and gliders, these are the ones we've been seeing quite a lot. These are ones that we've seen the last 3 or 4 tours, but that's because they've been ranked and they've been crushing it. So I think overall, if you have to get like maybe 1 or 2 of these karts. I don't know. To me, I'm still a big fan of the Shield Speedster, which is still living on, still in ranked. Another tour, it's just been absolutely crushing it. Moo Off-Roader is a big popular one that people have been getting really excited about. Pink Speeder fills a lot of really good gaps there, and Blue Crawley's been coming on as of late. It's been had a rocky start, but it's crushing it right now. Those are some of the big hot names that I like there. One sneaky one is the Rainbow Pipe Buggy. I've been kind of hot on this. I mentioned it the last couple tours, but it's coming on. Both that and the Rainbow Fair Flyer are now in both of our top 15. So really excited about both of those rainbow items. I've been kind of keeping my eye on them. But I think overall, the big ones that are coming out from this tour that are really worth investing in would be the gliders. I mean, even on the top shelf there, that higher frequency, we got the Fire Manta, your Fuzzy Kite. We'll let you get a conversation in there about that because it's finally useful. And then the Black Starshoot, which I had at double and triple uncapped at this tour. It's been absolutely crushing it. And then as you move down to the gliders, I mean, there's just so many hot ones. Things like the yellow hard hat, even tropical balloons, the wonderful garnet, wonderful diamond. There's so many good ones out there. I mean, even the prawn plant balloons, Nabbit. There's just so many good ones, guys. I think gliders is the way to go if you have any rubies left. But Antilev, what's your thoughts on the Spotlight Shop? Is there anything that you purchased?
I think no, I haven't. I would buy the Black Starshoot if I didn't already have it. It's such an awesome glider, and it got some of the best buffs this tour. I think it's interesting that this is the first time in a while we have seen the Spotlight items able to appear in the regular Spotlight shop. Like the Chain Chomp Charger, or Chariot rather,
Yeah.
and the Rainbow Flappy Wings are both there. Unfortunately, the Mario Brothers parafoil isn't. Otherwise, I'd buy it already. I would say one thing I would mention is if you're thinking about using rubies for dupes of Mii suits or for first of all, don't ever use rubies for dupes of drivers. But you could consider it for Mii suits, especially the ones that are in discount, or karts or gliders because they're a little bit cheaper. But the uh, coin to ruby value with Coin Rush is 25 rubies per 4,000 coins, roughly speaking. So a driver ticket at 12,000 in your daily selects is going to be equivalent to 75 rubies. And a driver in the tier shop 15,000 is going to be equivalent to just a little bit less than 100 rubies. So if you have a lot of coins, then by all means feel free to spend rubies on dupes. But if you are the type of person like me who tends to run out of coins, then it probably doesn't make as much sense to buy those dupes. Yeah, in terms of the items here, again, I'm with you. I think it's really the gliders here where you have we're spoiled for choice, and that's really what you want to focus on. There's some interesting ones, but especially like if you look at the cards, there's a lot of questionable carts there. The jumbo jetter is a pretty good one that you want to pick up, but there's a lot of items that are either old or not so good or both. I'm looking at those decal streamliners.
Yeah, no, for sure. I do want to give a quick shout out to Melody who joined the not a dud tier. Happy to have you, Melody. Awesome to have you there. I see Matt Aldridge out there as well, and Crested Peak brings up a video from Matt that talks about the Spotlight Shop. So definitely check out Matt Aldridge's channel. One of the things is obviously anything you see on this list, other than the gold items, are here because they're in ranked. That's literally why they're here. So of course they're going to have strong usage in ranked. But the thing is like what we always are focused in on are items that haven't been in ranked, but that now are in ranked. So now they're available here. Sometimes not all ranked items are here. So I mean, it is nice to kind of pinpoint ones that are brand new and kind of see if this is one that I've wanted. But here's the thing: is if it hasn't been in ranked the last couple of tours, and it hasn't been in your Spotlight Shop, why do you want to get it now? Like if it hasn't been ranked, how hot is it really? Does it really help you to get the Galaxy glider right now? It used to be great. It used to be one of the best gliders in the game. Right now, maybe not worth it. So that's kind of like the thing is like after 3 or 4 tours of something being out, it's going to be in ranked. So of course it's going to be in Spotlight Shop. So that's kind of the trend that they're taking on. And so obviously these items should be peaking now because they're literally popping up in the Spotlight Shop. Obviously the old ones still have some good value, but now this is probably a good time to let you talk about your fuzzy kite, man. So I've been dogging it, and honestly, I haven't seen a lot of value from it, but this is a great tour for it. For anyone who sees it in their shop, should they get it?
I mean, the thing with the fuzzy kite now is it's getting a little like you may be past its absolute peak. It's getting a little bit up there in age, shall we say? So I mean, it's still pretty consistent in ranked. I am looking at it a little bit kind of similar to the one that is right next to that Fire Manta glider. That one came out and it was a bit like, yeah, okay, this is a glider which looks interesting. I might invest in it. It comes from a kind of is interesting background, whatever. It has been good. It's been very quiet, but it's been consistently useful, consistently in rank. And I feel the same way about Fuzzy Kite. It hasn't been flashy, hasn't been like a Blazing Eagle, one-up mushroom, 8-bit mushroom type of thing, but it has been consistently useful and consistently in ranked. If you invested in it, and if not, then you probably haven't needed it. But I mean, it came out at the same tour as the Yellow Hard Hat Bloom, for example. So that's kind of a big reason why it has not got much fanfare, because the Yellow Hard Hat Bloom has been so amazing. But yeah, it's half a year old by now already. It's already 6 months old, so it's hard to say. I mean, I think if you invest it now, you'll still get a few months of use out of it. But we're getting so many interesting new items. I would maybe, if you haven't already invested it, look at something newer.
Yeah, man. Man, it's quite a late bloomer. I know that you were pretty excited about it at first, and it made sense. I think off of its like first 1 or 2 tours, but I remember last tour, it was rough. So it's glad to have it. It's a double feature and ranked, and I think it's obviously an early fan favorite. Some people went in on, but we'll get into a little bit more of the top 10, and you'll see if it's in the top 10. We'll get to drivers first. Obviously, Toad Tourist won the most tracks. Obviously, for for plain sake sight, look at him. He's a tourist, man. He loves Rome. He loves traveling. Loves going to cities. So give him a lot of city tours, those city tracks. That makes a lot of sense. Obviously, a double feature in rank there between Rome Avanti and Rome Avanti 2T. So big fan of Toad Tourist. At least the way he looks. He's got giant banana. Shout out to the Banana Republic. But 15 cities, number 47 on our list. So I don't know. I think overall he's going to have too many cities to make him really popular in the top 10. But it is nice to just use giant banana again, and he's a fun looking dude. I will say on the flip side, Toad Astronaut's been absolutely crushing it. You see he's number 5 on our list here. Crushing, dude. He's got the Moonview Highway on ranked, which is a very unique top skill option on that track. And I think in general, some people have been he's kind of been going up against the Light Blue Shy Guy Explorer for almost all year. Like they just seem to get kind of similar buffs at the same period of time, so they've been kind of rivals. I think this Moonview Highway, if you had to say like this is a better Boombox track or Lucky 7 track, I don't know. They're both phenomenal. Like one of the best like boomerang tracks because for a lot of different reasons. But also one of the better Lucky 7 because it's so easy to stall by how wide that kind of under tunnel area is. But like when it comes to coins on the track and like how many item boxes there are, dude, you could go wild on this track. It's a high scoring track, even though it's not very long. There's just so much going on. There's item boxes galore. There's dash panels. I'm still trying to figure out the lines myself. I've pinged a couple of my friends to try to see if they can help me out because it's just you kind of want to steer right and then left and then just bang bang bang, just kind of just like pinball all the way around. But anyway, Toad Astronaut got a phenomenal track there, and he's there's no plus skill Mii's there, so that's a case kind of like similar for almost all year. Toad Tourist is crushing it there. That's why he's number 5 on our list. We also have the Poke Mii suit. Luigi Gold Knight, he got the Rome Avanti 2R. That's the only ranked track, 4 cities. I don't know, man. This is his like first city action. For obvious reasons, and he walks away with all cities. You're happy to have him in ranked. He is up against the DK Gladiator. Not many Mii options there. So I'm curious though, what's your thoughts on Luigi Gold Knight? This might be the only time we're talking about him here.
So there are only 6 items in the whole game that got buffed with 2 retros, 2 non-cities. Not getting a Moonview Highway in this tour it's disappointing for Luigi Gold Knight because you would hope they would start him off strong. But it's not the end of the world. Honestly, it's not. There are only literally 4 tracks he could get buffed on that would be non-city. So that he missed those, it's not that big of a deal. We just treat it like an all-city tour. So I don't worry too much about Luigi Gold Knight. I'm still confident he'll be great. For the rest, Toad Astronaut is the only driver to get buffed with 2 retros. And one of them is in rank, so that's really good. He definitely had the best sort of value added in the tour.
Maybe it's a good time to talk about it. What are the top 5 buffs of the tour?
Yes, let's do that. So the number 1 most valuable buff is Gold Mii Racing Suit. Big surprise. On Moonview Highway R. The second one, actually there's a 3-way tie for second. And it's all Moonview Highway N, and it's all non-plus skill racing suits, surprisingly. Blue Mii Racing Suit, light green Mii Racing Suit, which is not really a buff since it's a new item, but still. A Roaring Racer Mii Racing Suit all got Moonview Highway N. So those are Mii suit bonus on a ranked track, a new retro. And then finally, the 5th one is Fishbone Mii Racing Suit, also another new item on Moonview Highway R. That's really, and people are going to ask, well, what about King Mario? Those are the 2 new exclusives this tour. King Mario got Moonview Highway T as an exclusive. PGP got Moonview Highway RT as an exclusive, Coinbox exclusive. No other changes to exclusives this tour. Why aren't those as valuable? They are valuable. They are exclusives. They're not in ranked, and they don't have the Mii bonus. We also increased the Mii bonus this tour from 18% to 20%, so they're really kind of pulling away. So that just keeping in mind how exclusives are good, but at a certain point, the looking at the value of Mii's and we put such a heavy emphasis on current ranked appearances in the current tour that if you don't get a ranked buff, it's very unlikely that's going to be in the top 5 buffs.
I'm with you there. No surprise that the gold Mii suit finished at the top of that list, man. He's been crushing it, absolutely. Daisy Tie Dress, nothing in ranked, but got all 3 cities there between a New York Minute, which nice to see that one come back. Romavanti R and then Romavanti T. Poochie got the Moonview Highway, so he's number 14 on our list, breaks our top 15. Nice to see him there. And then at number 15, the Light Blue Shy Guy Explorer got that same Moonview Highway. So you got some Lucky 7 options there. It's actually a really decent Lucky 7 track.
Yeah, I'm using Light Blue Shy Guy Explorer on my main account on that ranked track. It's really fun.
It's really fun. Yeah. The thing about all the singles you can get there, phenomenal there.
Yeah.
And that's probably where we'll kind of skip over things. I haven't really seen too much action on the Moo Mii and Blue Mii. I haven't seen really people make those type of investments. So we're gonna one of the suggestions we got in our server. Let us know in the comments if you think this would be better. But just trying to kind of limit some of the buffs. Maybe we just maybe less is more. Maybe just too many buffs and showing you all 300 buffs is a little too much. Maybe just kind of giving you the flyby high level overview, and that might be a little bit more concise to have you walk away with some more information. I always feel like if we're gonna do one, might as well do them all because it takes just as much time to put it together. But sometimes it might be a little too confusing. Just seeing so much going on, like all these Mii suits. I will say there's some questions that could be coming up about the Spike Mii suit or other Mii suits in general. Happy to get your feedback on that. But I do want to just kind of finish out this slide with the drivers with 2 buffs. We got PD Piranha Gold, got 2 buffs, but neither in ranked. Romavanti 2 is obviously the newer of the 2 with getting New York Minute. So PD Piranha Gold is up to 12 cities, 33 assumed tracks. Still in our top 10, but has fallen a little bit to number 8. We got Larry Wintertime, got the Moonview Highway R. So he's up to number 9 on our list, 34 assumed tracks, 12 cities. Mario King got Romavanti 2T, which is a ranked track, and then got that paired with Moonview Highway T. Big tour for Mario King. I think we weren't sure how he was going to do against his brother Coinbox, but I think he might have actually beat out Luigi on this one, just with long-term value. Talking about Luigi Gold Knight. Santa Mii Racing Suit, nothing in ranked, but still a killer out there. Rocky Wrench, this is the one people have been keeping their eye on. Obviously got Romavanti 2R, but 9 cities, 24 assumed tracks. Not a plus skill, but number 20 on our list. Larry and Morton. Last tour they got dunked on. This tour not that much better. And then of course they're both paired against each other on Romavanti 2T. It's a ranked track, and of course these 2 top skill brand new Mii suits are you have to pick between the 2. You can't use one on one and then the other on the other. That would have been nice to have done it that way, but there we go. And then maybe we'll stop here. Antilev, what's your thoughts on the drivers with the most buffs so far?
Yeah, Larry Wintertime is a little bit of an unfortunate one because he's sharing that track with Gold Mii. Otherwise, it's a really good buff. Yikes. In terms of the model value, it's actually, he just missed the top 5. It's the 6th most valuable buff in the tour. But yeah, if you've got the Gold Mii, then obviously there's no competition there. Mario King, as you said, like quite some good buffs. It's by far the most valuable buff not on a ranked track. Being called Peach coming in with her exclusive is the 2nd most valuable one. But I don't know. The thing about Mario King is like he has the most exclusives of any Coinbox driver, but it doesn't seem like you really need him. I don't know if this is just me or what. But yeah, other than that, no, I don't. I think Santa Mii suit actually is one I've invested in on both accounts, and to be honest, has been pretty disappointing. Like I know it's like pretty highly ranked, and I think that's just, it has a good number of tracks, and it's got a plus skill, and it's a Mii suit, but it is not really showing up in ranked as much as I would have hoped.
Yeah, for someone who does all cup ranking, I've been loving him because a lot of this courses that he gets, like he's the best option. And I like Lucky 7, yeah, so it's way more fun. But yeah, if you like ranked, he's not going to do much for you, or at least hasn't this summer. He is kind of a winter time item, so we'll see what happens here in a couple months. maybe he's revived a little bit, but no, it's a good point either way.
Mm-hmm.
As for the rest of the drivers with buffs, this is the one we talked about with Morton, Mii Racing Suit. So he's up to 2 cities, 13 assumed tracks. And it's still in the top 50 though, number 49. And then I think one of the people we're really excited about seeing was Pinkle Peach getting a little Moon View Highway RT, and then of course being brought back into New York Minute, which she had not seen because she was released after that track and it has not come back yet since. Monty Mole Racing Suit. So this is another one people were talking about a little bit too with Roma Avanti 2T. Just a tough track with Mii suits. You're not giving many options. And there you go. And then drivers with 1 buffs, as we talked about, the number 1 buff in the game goes to the number 1 driver in the game. Gold Mii suit. As we talked about his buffing cycle, we said this literally like last year. His buffing cycle will be like any other driver, will be unlike any other driver in the game. And here he is. Seems like every tour he gets a ranked buff, and not only that, but this is the one buff you want because it's going to come back. It's a huge buff for him. Gold Charging Chuck, after coming off of a hot 2023, does get a buff, but not in a ranked buff or something that's reoccurring. So a big L there for him, but it's okay. Don't sweat. He's still going to be pretty well. PD Piranha got the Moon View Highway R ranked track. It's going to be reoccurring. Huge win for him. Luigi Knight does have a ranked track with the Roma Avanti 2T, but his time is starting to kind of come to a close here. We got Dry Bones Mii Racing Suit got the Roma Avanti, and then the Cheap Mii suit got the 2T or 2R for the Roma Avanti. Then we got a lot of drivers with just 1 buff. A couple I want to point out. One is the Nabbit Mii Racing Suit. Kind of touched on this earlier. The Roma Avanti RT. This might be a good one for you to invest in Nabbit. As we talked about, some people are going to be going with Funky. Some people are going to be going with Diddy. Most people can get by with a Super. But if you really need to win ranked and you want to be able to kind of throw a couple tickets at something and just base points alone, just overpower your competition, Nabbit Mii Racing Suit might be pretty decent for you. It's crazy to think about because he's been out for over a year.
That's the only plus. It's actually a plus skill exclusive.
Plus skill exclusive.
Well, yeah. No, sorry. Donkey Kong has him at level 3 alive.
Okay. Donkey Kong.
Spartacon.
There you go. Spartacon.
My own nickname.
Yes. Please don't forget that. Get it right, man. No, I'm with you there. I mean, the option of you taking him to Spartacon to level 3 just for this ranked, I don't know. Might make sense to just, I think I have Nabbit Mii suit at 2 because I think we got him a couple of times as rewards. So, yeah, I mean, throwing 1 ticket on him or buying 100 rubies or something like that to have him at level 3 or maybe do it 3 times to get him at level 4, to me just seems a much better option than doing anything with Spartacon. To me, with my whale focus on Mii's, but yeah, to each their own. I mean, I just know there's so many Donkey Kong fans that have been waiting for a Donkey Kong. You got him plus skill and everything. He's exactly what you wanted. So don't hesitate. Go for him if you like him. I definitely don't want to deter anyone from following through on their dreams because this is literally a dream come true for so many players. There's actually a lot of ranked options here. If you look at almost half of the buffs here on this slide are ranked options. I mean, you got Luigi Vacation back. You got Mario Sunshine back. It's actually been really nice. I mean, even Rosalina Aurora, Funky Kong, man, Mario Musician. These are some old friends that finally getting some buffs, and it's in ranked. I think Luigi Vacation is obviously notable because of how dominant he was for, I don't know, maybe like 2 months last summer before all the plus skills came in last summer. It was absolutely insane. But either way, some decent fun drivers. This is a good tour just to have some fun. I think that's my favorite part about this tour is it's low expectations. Unless you're going for all cup ranking, then it's the highest expectations for probably any top 100 tour. I mean, again, I haven't talked to a lot of people just because I've been traveling to Nashville for work and then backed up by a family vacation. So I haven't really talked to a lot of people on who's going for top 100 or who's not. But my assumption is this badge looks insane, and I can see a lot of people wanting to support it. So if you haven't started on your top 100 grind, top 1,000 grind, maybe even top 10 grind, you might be too late because it's going to be a competitive one in my opinion. Let's get to karts. We got Rainbow Streetle, got the Romavanti 2T ranked track there, and then got some older tracks along with the Romavanti R. We do have, that is at number 9 on our list, as you can see. The Sakura Sports Coupe got the Moonview Highway R, which is a recurring track and in ranked. Big win there for the Sakura Sports Coupe. It even got a little bonus Moonview Highway T. Got like that coming in. Jumbo Jetter. Some people have been really investing in this one. Got the Romavanti 2R, the ranked track, and they got the bonus Moonview Highway T. Black Jingle Bell got the Moonview Highway, the regular, which is in ranked. Got like that. Nothing got good for the Bright Girl. Red Comet got the Romavanti 2T with the bonus Moonview Highway T. Pink Comet, huge win for this, getting the Moonview Highway, which is a ranked track. The one downside is it also shares this with my Lightning McQueen. So I have two cards at level 8 triple uncapped. But of course, I'm going Pink Comet because, you know, me, I love my pink stuff. Pink Comet's been crushing it, at least for me in ranked, and it's just a fun card to use. Silver Warrior Wagon, some invested into this, Romavanti. It looks super cool in the dark, in the nighttime. So this is a fun tour to be using it. Big win there for that. Gold, nothing, as you could probably expect, because it was a gold pass. Well, it was not. It's just like any other gold item that didn't come from a special pipe. It is garbage. There have been exceptions, but definitely if you can avoid investing in it, to go invest in something else. There's a lot of other good items, and that one's not in rank, so you don't have to feel that pressure. Let's get into carts with 3 buffs. Now we got the Blue Crawley cart, which has been doing pretty well here as of late. You know, I think it had a good first tour, and then it had a long drought. And here it is. It's been crushing it here the last, I think, 3 or 4 tours. So it's obviously one worth investing in. Bigger hitbox, commemorative item. It has everything going for it. I think a lot of people who invest in it so early. I was a little put off. But it looks like it's panned out. I think right now, the downside is, and we'll get into it, to overlaps and other stuff going on, but worth investing in for sure. Pink Speeder, one of the very few, very sneaky gliders that, if you've been watching the rundown, is not so sneaky anymore, man. It's been absolutely crushing it. Man, I feel like there's so many cards I want to invest in. This is one on the list. I think that a lot of the gaps that it covers, I actually have covered because I've invested very uniquely with a lot of pink items that share some of these tracks. But Pink Speeder doing really, really well in the meta. I'll skip over some of these. Silver Flower Cart did get the Moonview Highway R, which is in ranked. And they kind of skim down here. A lot of people have been looking at this Cupid's Arrow. Which one's going to do better, the gold or the silver? A lot of people put their money on the silver. Unfortunately, this tour, can't say either really one of them won. They both... in fact, if you have to give a slight advantage, it might be to the gold Cupid's Arrow, just because it got the Romavanti and the Moonview RT. But I'm not. This tour kind of threw some cold water on both of those carts that people were pretty hyped on. Cream Classic got the Moonview Highway regular. That's one. Again, I haven't been watching the Cream Classic, but that one's been kind of coming on here as of late. A little sneaky there. I'm not getting too excited, but I'm keeping my eye on it. And then some people have invested in the Hot Pot Hot Rod, and I did get the Romavanti, but as you can see here, number 78 on our list, 17 cities, 17 assumed tracks. So I'm still not a fan. Let's get into carts with 2 buffs as we round out. We do have the Gold Shield Speedster, which is surprising number 87 on our list. We got the Romavanti. I invested into this one pretty early just because it was a gold item. Maybe, Antilev, you can shine some light. Why is the Gold Shield Speedster so low on the list, number 87?
It needs more tracks. I mean, and it didn't get really good buffs this tour. You know, it got 3 cities. It didn't get any. So this has been something that people have asked about. Why isn't the Gold Shield Speedster higher? Well, first of all, it's brand new, and it only has 11 tracks, and that used to be a pretty good 11 non-cities. That used to be a pretty good amount of tracks, but now we're seeing carts with 25 plus. Getting up to Rainbow Taxi has 34 tracks. So 11 tracks is nothing. It has a lot of potential still, of course, the Golden Shield Speedster. But don't, again, this is an all-city tour effectively. Don't worry too much about the ranking now. What is really going to determine its value is its buffing arc over the next like 2 to 3 tours. You know, if it's gonna get like up to 20 tracks within 3 tours from now, I would say then you're looking. I mean, look, I've already invested in it as well. I bought it on my main account. I invested in it. I think it looks awesome. It had a great start. But again, it's not, you know, a year ago, maybe it would already be, you know, top 25, but just the number of tracks that karts have now is so much more that 11 isn't really enough to move the needle yet.
Nice. I also see Luca Midi in the chat as well. I see Jack the Dark Blue Yoshi. How are you guys doing? Yeah, we're live here, so it's always kind of fun to check on the chat. Yeah, man, I don't know. It's I still feel I have faith in it, but yeah, I mean, just being released / tour and then entering into a city tour makes it tough to jump up the ranks unless you're getting moon view like 3 different variations. But let's get into the carts with 2 buffs. We got the Moo Off-Roader, number 3 on our list. They got the Romavanti 2R. Gotta like that. 10 cities, 31 assumed tracks. Tycho Drum Dasher's been doing really well as well. Romavanti 2T there with 6 cities, 30 assumed tracks. Doing really well. Rainbow Taxi is doing okay. It's number 10 on our list here. Got the Moonview Highway. Shield Speedster. Got the Romavanti RT. As we talked about it, man, it just keeps getting ranked tracks. I think that, man, when the Shield Speedster came out, it was blowing our minds how high it was right out the gate. And you know what? It has not let anyone down. We're kind of talking on Sammy's stream earlier, just the different carts that kind of belong to me, the ones that kind of I've identified with. And someone brought up the Shield Speedster and it's like, that's everyone's Shield Speedster. We all have won from that. So if you invested in early on it, you've been absolutely crushing it. I think everyone the whole community has loved that. It's everyone's cart. Shield Speedster, great job, Antilev there. Rainbow Pipe Buggy,
that was a big risk from,
it was a huge risk
our side, because if you get like number 1 and it's like 3rd tour or something, which was pretty crazy, but in the end it bore out.
It definitely panned out for you really well, man. Made you look like a genius, more than you already usually do. As we talked about, the Rainbow Pipe Buggy being really sneaky here. Number 14 on our list, Moonview Highway R. It's a newer one, not super new, but if you want to make an early investment, yeah, I kind of put my neck out there. I think it might be worth it. Light McQueen, though, guys, this is look at this. 2 buffs, 2 ranked. You gotta love that. 30 assumed tracks, number 10. Number 20 on our list. 10 cities. We've been calling this one out. I know that it is like right there where people feel like it's a little too small. So completely get that. But its coverage, man, I hate saying the word broken, but its coverage is broken.
It kind of reminds me of a slightly bigger jukebox buggy. You know, it just has really a lot of tracks and also really high quality tracks. It isn't ranked all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, even like I think if it was bigger, we'd be thinking about it like Silver King, just like
for sure.
Like it just happened to get like these awesome ranked buffs back to back.
No, but it's one we've been kind of banging the drum for from very early on. I'm pretty sure.
You know, and it came out, and then there was the Red Off-Roader, shared a lot of overlaps with it. And a lot of people went into the Red Off-Roader, which, you know, I think out of all,
a mistake.
Well, here's the thing: is like all the off-roaders are great. You know, like just because of their hitbox, the biggest hitbox of the game, people have put a lot of stake in it. But if you actually compared all of the off-roaders to each other, you know, Brown is their poop bottom, got that. We're all on the same page there. Right above that, I mean, you have to put Red, in my opinion. So, just in how it's impacted the game. So that's how I stand on it. But still, time has we've seen stuff being resurrected from the dead. So we'll see how it goes going forward. Pink Sneaker on there, Wild Gold. Cupid Zero got some New York buffs, but nothing in ranked. That's probably where we'll draw the line. I'll move into the second page. People have been wondering what's going to happen, on the other side of the Shield Speedster debate between the gold and the black. We got black here, number 94 on our list. It did get a rank track, which is nice. The Romavanti RT and the Moonview Highway T. So both of the new Shield Speedsters got a ranked buff. And I will say this black one got nice to get the reoccurring track with the Moonview Highway T. But honestly, I was kind of surprised when I saw a night tour. I was like, man, that black Shield Speedster is going to just walk out with like 5 buffs, but it didn't, which I actually think is a win for it, because you don't really want 5 buffs this tour. You want 2, and you want 1 in ranked that's a city, and you want 1 that's not in ranked that's a non-city. And so I think this is like literally the best case scenario for a cart It's brand new with a large hitbox. It looks phenomenal. So I think it's a big win for the Black Shield Speedster.
It's awesome. It's an awesome. I should put something in the model for like extra style points for the Black Shield Speedster because it looks so good.
It does look good. Frosted Wing. Actually, I think walked away with a pretty good tour. This is kind of like one of those things that's been resurrected from the dead, at least temporarily. I know it's 103 on our list, so don't get too excited about it. But look at this. Double Moonview Highway buff, both regular and T, one of which is in ranked. You gotta like that. Same thing with the Decal Streamliner, which has been dead. I don't think it ever was alive. Got kind of walked away with a similar treating with Highway, regular, and RT. Carts with one buff. Blazing Eagle did get a buff. Not necessarily a very efficient buff because it got New York Minute 2R, but I think it came out kind of all these the Taylor Swift and some of these other carts came out in a New York related type of tour. So, it's kind of American. So you got to appreciate that. But yeah, it got the New York Minute 2R.
An Eagle, come on.
Yeah, man. We love our Eagles here. We got the Gold Lunar Cruiser, very efficient buff here with Moonview Highway R, which is in rank. This has been one of the few gold carts that has been an exception to the model, which has been basically if it's gold, it's garbage. And this one breaks that model, man. It's doing really, really well. Streetle got the Romavanti 2T, and so we got Black Sneaker, got the Romavanti, Flaming Speeder, Romavanti 2T, Blue Sneaker, Moonview R. Man, it's tough. Jukebox Buggy, though, as we kind of talked about earlier, got the new Moonview Highway R. Big track there for it. Gotta love that. Anything you want to add here to the cart? I guess we got one more set of carts to talk about.
Yeah, go for it, and Let's
just wrap up here. Yeah, I'm looking at it. Which ones kind of are sticking out to me? Some of these, I know the White Fast Frank, some invested in. Got the Romavanti 2R. Sweet Ride, some invested into that as well. Got the Romavanti RT. Chocolate Banana Minibus was doing okay for a while. 102 on our list right now. Got the Romavanti. And I think our Purple Bunny did get a New York Minute buff. You gotta like that. Fortunately, it's not ranked or anything to help you out with. Combo Cruiser. This one was a crazy one last year. Romavanti RT there for it. That's probably where I'll draw the line, man.
Bumblebee got a buff. That's like one of the worst cards in the game.
And you know what? It wasn't a New York Minute, which is kind of what I would have expected.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts, man?
So 3 cards I want to mention that got 2 retro buffs. The only 3 that got 2 retro buffs. The first one is that Sakura Sports Coupe, which is somehow snuck into 12th on our list. I had honestly not even been paying attention to it, but it's somehow a top 15 cart, and it doesn't have a huge hitbox. It got Moonview Highway R and T, so one ranked and one non-ranked. No items. This tour got both Moonview ranked tracks as buff, returning items. Then you got the Frostwing and the Decal Streamliner both got Moonview Highway N, and Decal Streamliner got N and RT. Frostwing got N and T. Both older, kind of not so valuable cards got the most valuable buffs in the tour. Frostwing is a weird one. I have it randomly on my free-to-play account, triple captain level 6, just because I needed it for ranked a couple times. It helped me get gold Yoshi, or no, not gold Yoshi, but the question block Mii suit, and it helped me get tier 80 and the gold Mii suit. So I appreciate Frostwing for that, but it's still not that great of a card. Other than that, for the single buffs, I don't really have. I don't think I really have there's so many buffs.
You do have to remember the Frostwing was a special pipe new item. So
yeah, very disappointing one.
There is, well, I mean, it was probably the most disappointing of all the new.
What about Ice Dozer? Wasn't that a special pipe?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
It might have been. I know Frostwing definitely was because I was pretty pumped about that. But yeah, it was probably one of the. Probably the worst special pipe item. So who knows? Maybe the value. Maybe they're trying to compensate for it and be like, "Hey guys, you know you got to invest in these items coming from special pipes." Again, for those new players, there used to be pipes in this game, and special pipe items were the beast. I will say, Pepper Rabbit just mentioned again. I think we just kind of dog gold items in general. Many of them come from Gold Pass. Some of them come from other things. you did mention that the lunar cruise, gold lunar cruiser, did come from a ranked reward, which seemed to be kind of a little lackluster compared to commemorative items and other gold items. But geez, I think gold pass rewards are probably the lowest of the low. Like that, those are just basically freebies that we know won't have value. So just for what it's worth, it was a ranked reward.
Yeah.
Let's talk about gliders. We got one glider, a slide by itself, that got 5 buffs. That is our 8-bit super glider. Did walk away with 2 new non-city tracks. Those are the Moonview Highway.
One of the 2 gliders to get two retro buffs.
That's a huge win. One of which is in rank. That's even better. So this one, I mean, again, 8 items are just crazy good anyway. This one, 31 assumed tracks, 7 cities. Usually, like if one item gets like 5 buffs, it's usually like something that just came out like 1 or 2 tours ago. So this has been allowed. It's already up to 31 tracks, 31 assumed tracks, and 7 cities. So a total of 38 tracks already. It came out like a couple months ago. Yeah, really unique. It's interesting, and they got 2 Singapore tracks and 1 New York track. I don't know what they're doing there, but you gotta love the 2 moon views. That's a huge win for this glider. Those of you who have invested in it. Other top gliders, we got Yellow Hard Hat. Been pretty meta lately. Got the Romavanti 2T, but nothing, no non-city buffs for it. Wonderful Diamond's been really strong for a lot of players. Really, in fact, it's one of the ones I would probably highly recommend investing in. It's got this Romavanti 2T is one of the toughest glider tracks in ranked this tour. It's like really hard to cover. If you have to invest in it, feel free. It's really, really strong. I think it's still got some oomph left in it. Romavanti 2T, and then also got the bonus Moonview Highway T. We got the 8-bit block glider. Got the Romavanti 2T. We always been kind of comparing it to the 8-bit Goomba. I would say this is a pretty good buff here. This, as I mentioned, this 2T being really hard to cover, but the rest of them are cities, including 2 New York. So I don't know. It's got some good and bad. It's one of those Sour Patch Kids. It's got the sweet with the sour. Red checkered glider did get the Romavanti 2T, which I always get confused between this one and the 8-bit glider that we just talked about in the last slide. But it got Romavanti 2T, and it did get a bonus Moonview Highway T. And then Gold Bell is just garbage. We're not even going to talk about it. Gliders with 3 buffs, as we mentioned. Black Star Shoot got 2 non-city buffs this tour. It's 3, and one of it, which is in ranked, and it's a reoccurring one. So huge win. One of the best buffs for a glider is Black Star Shoot. I had it at level 8 just gradually. I think like when it first came out, I had a level 6. And it made sense to take it to 7 at one point, and then it took it to 8, but I didn't have enough cap tickets, so kept it at 595. Pull the trigger. It's now 8,715. One of my top gliders for my account. It's just really, really strong. It was a neck and neck.
Only quad cap glider.
You're only. Wow, dude. Yeah, maybe it's worth it. Maybe I should think about quad capping it. But honestly, it was neck and neck with the boom masks. I think it's pretty clear that the Black Star Shoot has won that race. Now they both, again, were doing really well there, so it's really hard to tell. But Black Star Shoot ended up pulling away. Nabbit Parachute, if you haven't been watching the rundown, it's been really sneaky good. Now it's no longer sneaky. It's just good. Nabbit Parachute got the Moonview Highway R, and did you get the Romavanti 2? Gold 8-bit glider, nothing in ranked. Did get the Moonview Highway T. You got like that. Shiny, Smiley Flower glider. Some people invested early in this. I think I'm thinking about Jeeves. Romavanti 2T is a ranked track and did get the bonus Moonview Highway T. Yoshi's Cookies did get the Romavanti 2R. I haven't been a big fan of the Yoshi's Cookies, but I've heard some chatter about it. Let me know why in the chat if you're a big fan of the Yoshi's Cookies. And then Bright Ribbon, nothing in rank. So those are some of the top gliders with 3 buffs, and just kind of round these out before I get your opinion into Lev. We got a couple other ones, nothing really, making major note of. I know I invested a little bit, I think just like 6,490 to the Glittering Glider. That one did get the Romavanti 2R, but I was kind of hoping for a little bit more this tour. That is a harder track to... Actually, you know what? I'm trying to think which one that one's on. That one actually might be a little easier to cover. I think there's like a super or something. So, there you go. So, Antilev, what's your thoughts on the gliders with 4 and 3 buffs?
Yeah, so, we covered basically the 2 gliders that got the best buffs this tour. That's the 8-bit super glider, which is This is only its 9th tour and it already has 31 tracks. That's crazy.
That's
There's
insane.
so many tracks left to see. That's definitely one to hop
And
on.
we came out of a streak with good new tracks.
If it's good for your account, if it gives you some coverage, get on it now because it's going to be around for a while. And then the Black Star shoot, which is a bit older. It's from the Bowser tour last year, right? Which was in September.
I think it was August.
So it's almost a year old, not quite. So it's getting up there, but still just incredible value and still getting the relevant ranked buffs and getting those 2 great value buffs this tour.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I mean, some people went Boom Masks, some people went Black Star Shoot. Definitely would not recommend investing in both. But now we're getting to the point where the Black Star Shoot just independently is just well worth investing in. Guys with 2 buffs, we got some household names here on the list between the wonderful Garnet, the Calico Toe Beam Balloons, and the Gold Hard Hat. Obviously, the wonderful Garnet got a huge good buff here with this Moonview Highway R, which again, we've been kind of wondering between the wonderful Garnet and the wonderful Diamond, which one's going to do better. Right, this tour currently, it's the wonderful Garnet. This is one of the better buffs you could possibly get. Is a reoccurring track with tough coverage to get. Calico Toe Beam Balloons, we're hoping for more. Got a New York Minute, which is unfortunate, and then a Roma Monte T. Gold Hard Hats, nothing in ranked, which is why it dropped. You see it there, number 10 on our list. Certainly, it's still kind of newer, so we'll see how it goes. But 33 assumed tracks, 9 cities, such a big drop. We'll have to talk about that when we get to the top 10. To round off the rest of the gliders with buffs, we got the 8-Bit Goomba that people have been looking at. Not so great. New York Minute and Roma Avanti 2RT. So again, when we're looking at 8-Bit Goomba versus 8-Bit Question Block, Sammy and I have been talking about that. I've been on the block glider. He's been on the Goomba. Goomba, unfortunately, took a big L this tour, which is unfortunate.
I expected that one to be the best of the. When this is done, I'll give you the positions of all those 8-bit gliders that came at the same time. We did this with the Sky Tour gliders. Let's do that with the 8-bit gliders.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it. Not in a second, but Fuzzy Kite did get a double ranked. He got like that. So this is a huge win for the Fuzzy Kite. As we kind of talked about a little bit earlier, it's number 23 on our list. It did get pretty close to the top 10, but never really broke into the meta. This is probably the best tour it's ever had. Both of its buffs, both in ranked. Gotta love that. Fire Manta Glider. This glider will not die. Although it did go slightly down in the list because both of these tracks are city tracks as compared to the other items that got buffed with non-city buffs. It did get a temporary value, which again, that's all you kind of hope for in a tour like this. Roma Avanti 2R, but certainly well worth investing in. 32 assumed tracks, 14 cities. Still has a lot of cities. It's probably more than many people would want, but I believe it came out in that the Tide Easy tour. So there in Bangkok. So gotta love its consistency, man. It seems like every tour just gets a little bit of love, and that's all you need from it. Probably skip through some of these. Mint and Berry Balloons, some people invested in. Got the Roma Avanti RT. Luigi's Mustache got that Roma Avanti 2R. Roy Oil Paper did get the Roma Avanti and a bonus Moonview Highway RT. That's probably where I'll draw the line. Then we'll move into gliders with 1 buff. Autumn Leaves at the top of this list. Roma Avanti are, though, not in ranked. Festive Holly did get the Moonview Highway. It's a little sneaky. It's number 9. Went up 6 spots thanks to this 1 buff. Again, if you get a non-city buff, you're gonna jump up the list. That's just what's gonna happen in the city tour.
Yeah, if it's a ranked buff for sure.
And then the fact that it's ranked, man, just you're gonna be moving up half a dozen spots. It's just what's gonna happen. 1 tour, and that'll make a huge difference for you. Kind of same thing with the Rainbow Fair Flyer. Went up a number of spots to number 13. 30 assumed tracks, 6 cities for that one. 8-bit 1-up Mushroom did walk away with a Moonview Highway track, which is the RT. Unfortunately, it's not ranked, but that's okay. This is a glider that already had some monster coverage, seen just about everything in the game. Happy to walk away with that as and consider that a winner. Some other notable meta items that got ranked. It's actually kind of interesting. Piranha Plant Balloons got a rank buff with Roma Avanti. Icy Mario Mustache got the Moonview Highway. Boom Masks did get this Moonview Highway, number 27 on our list. 11 cities, 31 assumed tracks. Cream Toe Bean balloons to get the Mew Highway R. I know a lot of people have been pretty hype on that. It's hard to keep track of all the toe beans. Calico and Cream seem to be the top ones right now. And then Perry Panini did get the Romavanti 2R. Tropical Balloons got a monster buff here. Very efficient. Mew Highway R. It's a ranked buff. It's one of the few gliders I have quad capped mainly because of the battle track that it's got. I think battle track. No, maybe it's Cookie Land. Either way, it's a huge win for it. Same thing with the White Waves Origami glider. Got the Mew Highway R, which is in ranked, and it's going to be recurring going forward. Some other meta items, vanilla and chocolate balloons to get the Romavanti. Some people invested pretty heavily into that. That's probably where I'll cut off and bring things over to you. I will say the Galaxy, sometimes in some of these city tours, we have to look back at some of these, whether it's PGP or in this case, the Galaxy glider, getting a nice buff with the Mew Highway R. That one just seemed to get like crazy buffs. It was kind of like the Fire Manta of 2022 back in the day. Maybe 2021 at this point. But Ansel, what's your thoughts on the rest of the gliders?
Yeah, no, not really a whole lot else to see. I think it's funny that the full flight got buffed on New York Minute One. I think it's funny looking at all these old items that actually never saw a New York Minute because this is the first time it's returning in the entire history of the game. The original Star Shoot guide, these are ancient items. It's funny. So we were talking about those 8-bit gliders. What we did before was we were kind of tracking when the Sky Tour came out. There were 3 gliders. There was the Prop Kart glider. I don't even remember what it was called. There's the Record Setter and the Wonderful Wings, and we were tracking all 3 of them to see how they did compared to one another. So I think it'll be fun to do the same thing with those. There's 4 8-bit items that came out in the same tour. There's the Gold 8-bit glider, the 8-bit Goomba, the 8-bit Block glider, and the 8-bit Super glider. The 8-bit Super glider is a clear winner at this point at number 5. 8-bit Block glider, I think that you said that's the one you're into.
Yes, sir.
That one's sitting at 17, so it's pretty significant distance between that and the Super glider. It is in second place. And the third place, surprisingly, is the Gold 8-bit glider. At 20th, and bringing up the rear is the 8-bit Goomba at 22nd. Not even doing as well as the Gold 8-bit glider.
Wow.
I had really expected 8-bit Goomba to be the winner of this group, but it's the last one.
It's unfortunate because it's one of the coolest looking. Unfortunately for it. Tyler mentions that the Record Setter got another non-city buff. I must have missed it. I don't see it on here.
It's on the previous slide, right at the top of the one buff. It's not a ranked one. It's Moonview Highway RT.
Number 12 on our list. The thing is, the Record Setter was a special pipe new item. So not surprised there. Certainly has some. It does have. It's the only glider in the game with 2 level 8 unlocks. Fun fact.
Definitely a mistake.
It's crazy. And unfortunately, I think that's why it had such a rough start for a little bit. It did end up doing pretty well, but I think Nintendo was they gave us that announcement. They said, "Oh, this glider has 2 level 8 unlocks. We're aware of it," and then just kind of gave us some terrible buffs for 2 or 3 tours. And later it came on, but I think they wanted to show us, guys, this was our mistake. You're not gonna get bias on this one. You're not gonna take advantage of us. We're gonna keep you humble, and then we'll finally give it the buffing at once. So yeah, certainly it's long-term value. It's been still pretty strong. For the drivers, let's get into a top 10. So for those of you who are not aware of the algorithm, maybe this is your first episode, thank you for being here. Again, let us know in the chat if this is your first time watching. But Antilev has put together an algorithm. It takes into consideration a lot of factors. Mainly around which buffs have more exclusives, which ones have kind of less other items on it. I think one of the biggest parts is that it is predictive in general. So as compared to just looking at the app, okay, this one's the best. Well, looking at the data, how do we incorporate things to be able to make a prediction of, hey, and I think that's one of the reasons why Daisy Tidress did so well, is that she had a lot of good buffs that weren't in ranked, but they were really good exclusive buffs, and that really helped in the long run. She was the number 1 driver for a while. Yeah, not so much anymore, but I think that's less about her and more about the Mii's having taken over, because she still definitely had a good run. I do want to walk through, this is our first slide, And also, we did have some of our stud fam, in order to try to have this come out more consistent, or maybe even a little earlier, have tossed out maybe even doing these detailed slides for just the top 5 instead of the top 10. It would certainly cut down probably 5 or 6 hours of production time behind the scenes. But let us know if you would be willing to do that. If you could maybe we could get it out as early as maybe Thursday or earlier on Friday. So let us know what your thoughts are. But I do want to walk through it because I do think this is probably the most helpful way to look at an item. I think that if someone was like, hey, can you, what is this item doing? This slide represents that the best way that I know possible. Please let us know. Definitely find me on Discord or leave me a comment on the video if you think that there's something that we're leaving out or if something is too much information. But there's a lot of information on this slide, so I do always want to walk through it if there is someone new for the first time watching. So we have King Mario. He's number 10 on our list. We'll go through all 10. We'll even review top 15 later on. He went up 1 spot compared to last tour. So again, it is predictive, but it's also like a time capsule. Like this is his ranking right now in this tour based on the information we have today. So he has 24 assumed tracks, 21 nitro. So 24 assumed tracks. These are assumed to come back over and over and over again, multiple times per year. We've seen some stuff come back 5 or 6 times. Last year, I think we saw Warrior Shipyard come back like 8 times. So these are the assumed tracks. These are the ones we really want to invest in. And those are also 21 nitro. Nitro tracks would are nitro plus cities. We've combined them for nitro. I think we would eventually like to get to just having cities on this list, but we do want to incorporate the nitro as separate. These would be, in addition to the cities, would be also included would be like the Ninja Hideaway, some of the Sky High Sunday, Merry Mountain. They're only going to come back once per year, most likely, maybe twice if we're lucky. Again, I think that you do want to, these are kind of helping you make some tiebreaker decisions. And then right below that, X number of tracks left to see. So once a driver sees a track, that they either get it or they don't. Period. Nintendo's never broken that cadence before. So King Mario still has 7 tracks left in the game that has been released before he came here that he has not seen, that he could get or couldn't get. Again, not it's TBD. But I think if you're comparing him to say Luigi Knight Gold, who has seen a lot less tracks, you might want to take a little risk. Newer items tend to be to pan out a little bit better in that respect. So there we go. That covers the top section. Moving down to the bottom right, these are all of his tracks, followed by the top skill drivers on each of those tracks. So what you kind of want are a very narrow list. You want to see, which actually King Mario does a pretty good job of. You want to see maybe 1, 2, 3. There are some tracks that he has, like Rainbow Road RT, that just like there's so many coin boxers. But these are just top skills, which is really important to keep note of. He has, looks like 1 exclusive there with the Shroom Ridge R. So that's like a bonkers value in the algorithm. But even stuff like Baby Park R that just have PD Piranha. He's, a coin box exclusive. Massive for him. Peach Gardens T, same thing with him versus Pink Shy Guy Ninja. So ultimately, the goal is that this gives you this little snapshot, gives you some more detail on his coverage. We can't see this in the game for some reason. So Larry98's done a phenomenal job laying this out for us. There we go. Let's move to the left. So there are 2 sections, top skill pairing and top skill overlap. Top skill pairing means that using a Turtle Dude's coverage optimizer, if you plugged in King Mario and said, give me 3 other drivers, and I want these total of 4 drivers to cover as much coverage as possible out of the, in this case, 320 tracks that are assumed. What 4 drivers would cover the most of those, including King Mario being one of them? And so there are 2 different pairings. Both of them include Mario Samurai and Daisy Tie Dress. One of them includes White Tanuki Mario, and the other one includes Gold Charging Chuck. Both of these pairings cover 114 of those 320 tracks. So the 2 pairings, those 3 drivers add 90 track to King Mario's coverage. Really helpful for you if you're like, I got King Mario. Should I invest in him? Oh, well, I already have invested pretty heavily into Gold Charging Chuck and Daisy Tie Dress. Maybe it makes sense for me to also invest in Samurai. It doesn't. Again, I'd highly recommend everyone taking a look at the Bam and Gerb server, the spreadsheet, or Antilev's version, or Ben's version, or there's a lot of versions out there. But ultimately, this gives you a snapshot. This gives you at least an inkling of what's going on. And at the very bottom, very important, top skill overlap. So this shows you what drivers overlap with King Mario the most. And so for this case, it actually does include both assumed tracks and city tracks. And so King Mario overlaps 4 times with Gold Charging Chuck, which is important to know because they both are coin box, but Gold Charging Chuck is going to have a wider hitbox. Now, the thing is, when we're talking about 24 assumed tracks, 21 nitro, 4 is not that big of a deal, so just take it with a grain of salt. So there we go. That hopefully that gives newer viewers. I always want to take the time because I want to make sure that we're welcoming new people to the community. We're always happy to help however we possibly can. But let's move forward to number 9. This will go a lot smoother. Larry Wintertime, 32 assumed tracks, 14 nitro, 15 tracks left to see. This pairing, very similar, actually very similar to the one on the last slide between Mario Samurai, Gold Charging Chuck, and Wet Tanuki Mario. Cover 117 of the 320 tracks, which is phenomenal. He does have some overlap with two coin boxers, one of which is a little bit larger, which is Gold PD Piranha and Daisy Tidress. Those both cover 5 times. And then 6 times with some non-coin boxers, which maybe you're not as concerned about with a coin box Larry Wintertime with Rosalina Chef and PD Piranha. Moving to number 8, PD Piranha Gold did fall 2 spots, obviously not getting a non-city buff or being in ranked unfortunately hurt him. He's down 2 spots from number 6 last tour. 32 assumed tracks, 13 nitro, 7 tracks left to see. His pairing cover 119 of the 320 tracks. And now we're starting to see Toad Astronaut start to show up in some of these pairings, which is really good for him. He's been doing really well in ranked, but it's nice to see him in these pairings. PD Piranha Gold does overlap with 3 different drivers 6 times, including Pink Shy Guy Ninja. We got PD Piranha and Gold Yoshi Gold something. And then 5 times with 2 other coin boxers, but both smaller than PD Piranha's hitbox. That would be Larry Wintertime and Kamek. At number 7, we got PD Piranha Mii down 2 spots. We didn't see him much in the buffing section, that's for sure. 23 assumed tracks, 10 nitro, 4 tracks left to see. This pairing covers 114 of the 320 tracks. Does overlap 8 times with his non-Mii variation. Makes sense, right? Yellow Mii Racing Suit up 6 spots. Up 3 spots to number 6. 20 assumed tracks, 14 nitro, 7 tracks left to see. You see on the right there on that coverage, pretty thin top shelf. A couple times there's only one other top skill on there. We gotta love that. Does pair really well with Daisy Tidress. She's in both of those pairings. Unfortunately, she overlaps 3 times. Toad Astronaut does overlap in 4 times with the Yellow Mii Racing Suit. Obviously, very different parts of the game there between one of the top 2 skills with Boomerang and with Toad Astronaut. But the Mii base points of the Yellow Mii Suit most likely going to be the better one to invest in for a lot of players. It's just right. The meta's crushing it. You got to have fun with it too. Gotta love that. At number 5, we just mentioned him. Toad Astronaut up 3 spots. He has 30 assumed tracks, 13 nitro. It's still a decent number of tracks left to see. Still 30 tracks left to see, which is phenomenal. This pairing, one of the higher pairings we've talked about so far. Daisy Tie-Dye, Daisy Tidress, Gold Charging Chuck, and White Tanuki Mario covering 120 of the 320 tracks, adding 91 tracks there. Gotta love that. Does overlap 5 times with Toad Tourist and Poochie, 4 times with Peach Happy, and interesting 2 Mii suits there overlap 4 times with Morton and the Question Block. Really interesting there with Morton already overlapping a little bit with Toad Astronaut. I wonder if that's things to come. At number 4, we just mentioned him. Question Block Mii Racing Suit, 28 assumed tracks, which is crazy for Mii Suit. 9 nitro, 3 tracks left to see. This pairing covers 116 of the 320 tracks. Does overlap 6 times with Mario Satellite. Not too worried about that. In fact, not too worried about his overlap. He's got really good overlap for a Mii Suit, which is phenomenal. You're always worried about that. Daisy Tidress, 37 assumed tracks, 18 nitro. 37 assumed tracks is a lot, especially with 18 nitro. 4 tracks left to see, 123 of the 320 tracks. It's I think the highest we've talked about so far. She's got some really good tracks. The biggest blemish, though, on her record, overlapping with the Gold Mii Suit 8 times. That's a lot of overlap with someone who's going to be a better option for her. You're going to have to weigh that options out. If you haven't invested in the Mii's, a lot of people have been calling Daisy Tidress kind of like Gold Mii Light, which I can't argue with that. At number 2, Gold Charging Chuck, 34 assumed tracks, 17 nitro, 4 tracks left to see. 123 of the 320 tracks are with his pairing. He does overlap 6 times with the non-gold version of himself and Yoshi Gold Egg Gold something and Luigi Knight. I think you're not too worried about those at 4. 4 is not a lot comparatively. But then again, no surprise here. Gold Mii Racing. So you open that game, you move to week 2, going through the ranked options, and you said, oh my gosh, this guy is absolutely insane. 34 assumed tracks, all with the crazy base points of what, 2060, 2070 at this point, which is insane. 16 nitro. He's seen every track in the game, though. His pairing, not quite as great, but that's okay, because he's just bonkers. And it's probably at his detriment. 117 of the 320 tracks, as we talked about, does overlap 8 times with Daisy Tie Dress, and 7 times with Gold Yoshi Gold Something and Peach Happy. So there you go, guys. Top 10 drivers. We always want to first look at kind of the raw score. So that's that number in white writing right underneath, whether it went up or down. And the number 1 driver in the game, or kart or glider, is always going to be 100 on from the raw score. But you see there, huge gap between he and the Charging Chuck Gold. 15 points nearly, which is insane. And then a huge drop between Gold Charging Chuck and Daisy Tie Dress. Over a 10-point drop there. So, and then everyone else is kind of neck and neck for a little bit. I mean, certainly there's a drop off between Daisy Tie Dress and Question Block, and then everyone's kind of in that 66 to 62 range. But rounding up the top 15, White Tanuki Mario at 11, Petey Piranha at 12, Yoshi Gold Egg Gold Something at 13, Poochie at 14, Light Blue Shy Guy Explorer at 15. Antilev, man, chat man, what's going on? What are your thoughts on the top 10 drivers?
You can see from this tour, it's the movements are not that big. It's clearly an all-city tour or a pseudo all-city tour. I just want to mention we did make a couple of minor adjustments to the model this tour. I talked about it earlier. We reduced the bonus, the weighting for battle type tracks down. Effectively, they go down from about 19% of all cup ranking appearances to 15%. So any items that had battle tracks lose a bit of value. And we increased the Mii bonus. You'll see later on in the risers and fallers, most of the drivers that are risers or Mii suits. And that's in large part due to the raising of the Mii suit bonus from 18% to 20%. That means all Mii suits get a blanket 20% bonus on their final value. So that explains a lot why the Cold Mii Racing suit is so far ahead, and also, why 4 of the top 10 are Mii's, even if their coverage is not as good as, say, a Die Daisy or Charging Chuck.
Yeah, it's interesting. There are plenty of Mii suits on here, but there are plenty of non-Mii suits on here as well. So
it's a nice mix.
Good mix, man. I like this mix. I mean, you got 4 Mii suits and 6 non-Mii suits. So they're not the non-Miis aren't they're not dead, but I think you have to take note on these Mii suits that are on this list. I mean, these are really strong investments. I see some other new people in the chat. I see Zooms. I see Extreme Coast. How you guys doing? Hopefully you're doing well. Let's get into karts. We got Rainbow Taxi breaking the top 10 at number 10, up 2 spots, 32 assumed tracks, 10 nitro. Still has a good number of tracks left to see, 30 tracks left to see. So good pairings here. This is pretty common. We'll see a lot of Yellow Off-Roader and Armored Rider, and even Gold Bruiser has now been pretty common with the kart pairing. Nice to see the Blazing Eagle in some of these pairings, though, too. This pairing with the Rainbow Taxi cover 114 of the 320 tracks. Does overlap 7 times with some rainbow and space type of themed items. When you're talking about the Jukebox Buggy, Blooper Shuttle, I think this is the Rainbow Streetle. Does overlap 5 times with the Camo Tanuki Kart and the Lightning McQueen. At number 9, we got this Rainbow Streetle I just mentioned. 27 assumed tracks, 10 nitro, still a whopping 73 tracks left to see. That's pretty crazy. Good coverage here for, I don't know, the Streetles just have good coverage in general. You just have to accept that hitbox. This pairing covers 109 of the 320 tracks. Probably the most common pairing you'll see in the game from a Turtle Dude's coverage optimizer. 7 overlaps, though, with the kart we just talked about. We just mentioned this briefly on the last slide, Rainbow Taxi. 6 overlap, though, with the Taylor Swift, the the Jumbo Jetter, and the Camo Tanuki Kart. And then 5 times, actually, I think 5 times with Moo Off-Roader and the Camo Tanuki cart. At number 8, that Camo Tanuki cart we just talked about in the last 2 slides. Down 2 spots to number 8, 29 assumed tracks, 12 nitro, still 7 tracks left to see. This pairing covers 113 of the 320 tracks. You do have to be careful, though, if you invest in the Cakt B, which those people are kicking themselves, like myself. It does overlap 6 times with that Camo Tanuki cart. At number 7, we got the Tyco Drum Dasher, 27 assumed tracks, 9 nitro. Still an insane 92 tracks left to see. Holy moly. That's still a lot to see to already be at number 7. Again, you have to accept the hitbox. It's not really large. It's actually really short. It's probably like a medium width, but like really tiny short. So just be aware of that. But it's got 92 tracks left to see. To see it at number 7 is pretty astounding, to be honest with you. These pairings, including the Moo Off-Roader, cover 112 of the 320 tracks. You have to look, though, at the overlap, and you're not too worried about it. The Flowery Bad Wagon is one that has a wider hitbox, but Blooper Shuttle is probably kind of similar, maybe a little bit bigger, but definitely not worried about this Rainbow Streetle for hitbox. At number 6, we got this Pink Speeder. Not new to us, and watching the rundown, it's been crushing it here lately. 29 assumed tracks, 16 nitro, 15 tracks left to see. This pairing covers 115 of the 320 tracks. It does overlap, though, with some bigger carts. You have to be aware of this. Red Off-Roader, and with 6 overlaps, 5 times with the Blazing Eagle, including the Red Comet and the Camo Tanuki cart. So here's now our top 5. Gold Lunar Cruiser, super sneaky, 32 assumed tracks, 8 nitro, still 30 tracks left to see. So, some of these cool pairings. I've never seen the black, I think it's a black sneaker in there, but these 2 pairings cover 112 of the 320 tracks. Does overlap 6 times with the gold Eagle, and then 5 times with the Blazing Eagle and the Pink Speeder. Those 2 items have been in the meta, but that's 5 overlaps isn't crazy bad. I guess because it's kind of new, you're worried about maybe future buffs going to it. But I think if you want to go in on it, don't be afraid of that gold. If you don't see a new gold item, don't invest in it. Wait and see. But the ones that do break the top 10, feel free to go into it. Blooper Shuttle, 29 assumed tracks, 10 nitro, up 3 spots to number 4, 30 tracks left to see, which is actually kind of surprising considering it came out at the very, very beginning of the year. Actually, I think it was maybe last year. But this pairing covers 113 of the 320 tracks. This overlaps 7 times with the Rainbow Taxi, 5 times with some other cards, including the Armored Rider and Blazing Eagle, and a driving the drum that we just referred to. At number 3, Moo Off-Roader, 30 assumed tracks, 11 nitro, 7 tracks left to see. Big fan favorite, big hitbox. Gotta love that. It's had its ups and downs throughout the year. This one holding down that number 3 spot with some other carts in its pairing, including the Yellow Off-Roader. 113 out of the 320 tracks. You are not worried about the cart overlap. 5 times, though, with the Warrior Wagon if you invested in that. Blue Crawley cart, which has had definitely some ups and some downs. It had some dry periods there that I was really worried about it. But it's coming on top. It's number 2 on our list. 10 nitro, 26 tracks left to 26 assumed tracks. And still a whopping 54 tracks left to see, which is actually really surprising. Commemorative item. We're all in on commemorative items in general. Giant hitbox with the Crawley cart. And it's been actually probably the best Crawley cart in my opinion. Even better than the OG, which had its string there. Some good pairings there, including the Blazing Eagle. 111 of the 320 tracks. Those overlap 7 times with the Armored Rider. This is I think why I was so concerned about it to begin with. 7 overlaps with the Armored Rider. 6 overlaps with the Shield Speedster. A lot of other overlaps with other carts that have been really strong in the meta with big hitboxes, and I think that's why I always was trying to pump the brakes a little bit. I think it's fine to move it at the speed limit, so don't hold back right now unless you invested heavily into the Armored Rider and Shield Speedster. So there's certain people out there where that's still the case. At number 1, Blazing Eagle. I think it did take a little bit of a dip this tour, thanks to not getting some ranked action, but 28 assumed tracks, 21 nitro, 7 tracks left to see. It does overlap 5 times with the Red Off-Roader, Pink Speeder, and Blooper Shuttle. So just want to kind of point that out there. If you're looking at the meta, you'll notice that the rest of the carts are catching up on that Blazing Eagle. This tour definitely took a hit, but it had a huge lead, massive lead. Just cut down a little bit. If you look at its raw score of 100, that Blue Crawley's at 93, Moo Off-Roader's at 87, and then they're all kind of neck and neck. So rounding out the top 15, Shielded Speedster at 11, Sakura Sports Coupe at 12, Red Off-Roader at 13, Rainbow Pipe Buggy at 14, and Gold Bruiser at 15. Antilev, chat, what do you think?
It's a little bit misleading because the rankings, the top three, did not change at all. But the Blue Crawler card actually made up some ground on Blazing Eagle. It went up from I think around a relative score of 90 to almost 94. So it's catching up a little bit. Other than that, Blooper Shuttle and Gold Lunar Cruiser both getting those good non-city buffs, helping out there in the top 10, and Rainbow Taxi as well, helping us sneak into the top 10, which I'm not sure if it's the first time. And it's not shown here, but the Sakura Sports Coupe with the 2 great buffs helped to go up 5 spots from 17th to 12th. I think that's really an interesting one to keep an eye on from now on. It surprised me.
Yeah, man.
Not much else to say, I would say.
Yeah, what's your thought? Zooms mentions he might actually invest in the Gold Bruiser. How do you feel about the Gold Bruiser?
I would say it's a little bit late. The Gold Bruiser is exactly how? Hang on a sec. Gold Bruiser. That's not showing.
Shout out to Adam82. I don't think said hello. Hopefully you're doing well, buddy. Says thank you for doing this on a live stream. I'm loving being able to chat with the community live as you're doing all of this. Appreciate both of you brothers. Appreciate you, Adam. Thanks for everything that you do, man. Love your spirits. You made a comment about some of the 30% of the Mii's being a part of the equation as well.
So we give the Mii's a bonus, but that's not based on necessarily the assuming that you have every single Mii, right? It's assuming that you have kind of somewhere half to 3/4 of the Mii suits. So he's asking what would the bonus be if you assumed you had all Mii's. So I said I guessed somewhere around 30%. It's not science. Gotcha. Gold Bruiser is 15 tours old, so it's more than half a year old already. I think it's a little bit late for that one, considering it's not a spectacular card. It doesn't have the biggest hitbox.
Yeah, Crested Peak says, Gold Bruiser feels probably more like an ACR thing, which I could.
Yeah, I would say it does fit in. Like I would say, coverage kind of fits in holes in your coverage pretty good. It always shows up for me as one of those ones which would give me more tracks if I invested in it, but I just don't like it.
Yeah, I kind of mentioned this last tour. I felt like last tour was like the start of, the new season, like the summer season. There's kind of like different buffing cycles we kind of see where things kind of get buffed with each other, but we kind of saw a drop off from some of the meta items, things like the 1-Up Mushroom or Blazing Eagle, or some of these items were kind of had their season, and then all of a sudden, I was even really surprised by some of these other items that did not get buffed last tour that I was expecting to get good buffs. I've actually been relatively unsatisfied with the way they've been treating the Larry Mii suit and Morton Mii suit. I was expecting them to be more involved. One rank track is not setting me back to make me regret a decision, but I don't know. It's like I just felt like there was a clear break, and like how everything was kind of peaking, and then everything kind of not necessarily dropped off.
It's a new chapter.
Everything's kind of changing seasons there. So let's get into the gliders. We got the gold hard hats and balloons down 3 spots to number 10. Was a former number 1 for a short period of time. I think it's still pretty solid. Definitely not bad to invest in. I don't know. It's weird. We're still kind of getting a good pulse on some of these special premium gold items, or I guess they don't have to be gold, but so far mostly they have been. But 33 assumed tracks, 9 nitro. Still has some tracks up to see, 29. Some good pairings here, including the Calico Toe Beam balloons and the record setter. Cover 118 of the 320 tracks. Does overlap though, and this is kind of the concern for it. Fire Manta and Golden Wings overlap 7 times, 6 times with the Piranha Plant balloons, and 5 times with the Boo masks. At number 9, we have the Festive Holly, as we talked about. If you get a non-city, during a city tour, you get a non-city ranked buff, you're going up 6 spots automatically. It's going to happen no matter what item you are. So this one walked away with a primo buff, just one single buff, but it was exactly what it needed to go up to number 9 on our list. We'll see if it continues. Sometimes when you get that kind of throttle, sometimes there's a little kickback. You might fall back 4 spots back to normal. We'll see what happens. But 28 assumed tracks, 17 nitro, 15 tracks up to C. I was surprised it didn't have very many tracks up to C. It still kind of felt a little newer. But this pairing covers 117 of the 320 tracks. Does have 7 overlaps with the wonderful diamond. That's really some of these items that it overlaps with, and this is why I've been kind of been not getting so hype on it. Almost all 4 of these items are crushing right now. Well, yeah. Boom Mask is not really crushing right now, but it is one that a lot of people invested in. So if you invested in it, like 5 is the lowest on there. 7 overlaps with the wonderful diamonds. That's substantial. That's worth noting.
And this can really show you how an item can be ranked highly, but if you use a tracker, it's not useful for you.
Yeah. No, you nailed it. And this case, the Festive Holly is a key example of that. We'll see what happens. Again, it doesn't have doesn't have bad coverage, doesn't have bad skill. It's just you have to decide if it makes sense for your account. It is a top 10 glider, so you can't get mad at it. I'm just trying to kind of in a vacuum compared to other things. I'm not as excited about the Festive Holly and haven't been, and I'm still not quite yet. My prediction would be that it might still be in the top 15 next tour, but it will drop, is my personal opinion. But again, maybe this winter it pops back up. That happens from time to time when you have kind of these, season-related items. Calico Toby and Balloons did have a bad tour this tour. Did fall three spots. Did not get the right buffs. Didn't get a non-city buff. It didn't get a ranked buff. So unfortunately, it did take a little bit of a tumble. But I actually feel pretty good about this one. This one's been doing really well in some of my rankings. But 32 assumed tracks, 12 nitro, 7 tracks left to see. Some of these pairings cover 120 of the 320 tracks. Does overlap 6 times with the Yoshi Cookies and the Goomba 8-bit. It does overlap. I'd be less concerned about that and more concerned about this 8-bit Super and this wonderful diamond, because those are 2 strong gliders that I would actually be one to keep an eye on as I'm investing in the Calico Toby and Balloons. At number 7, down 4 spots, Autumn Leaves. 33 assumed tracks, 12 nitro, 7 tracks left to see. This pairing covers 120 of the 320 tracks. Does overlap 8 times with the Cream Toby and Balloons and 7 times with some stuff from that trick tour, the 8-bit question block and the yellow hard hat. At number 6, Nabbit Parachute. This one I've been really liking. Look at that, 73 tracks left to see. That's insane. 30 assumed tracks, 8 nitro. This one's still on the rise, guys. If you have to invest in it, I like it, man. I like it. It does have some meta item overlap between the wonderful Garnet at 7, which is substantial. 7 is a lot. But if you have not invested in the wonderful Garnet, you might want to go into it. I'm actually a little bit more optimistic than I am on the 8-bit question block. But again, that's just the one I invested in, which overlaps 6 times. Still a big fan of the Black Star Shoot. Can't go wrong there. 5 overlaps. That one, if you have invested in the Black Star Shoot, I would be concerned about the Nabbit Parachute. Not that 5 is a high number, but because the Nabbit Parachute only has 38 tracks, and I kind of see it as like a baddie. I can see him getting some more overlaps of those 73 tracks. So we'll see what happens. I'm bullish on it though. 8-bit Super Glider. We talked about this one up 5 spots, 28 assumed tracks, 10 nitro. Still a whopping 84 tracks left to see. Now I will say, everything I'm going to talk about, you have to not care about the look of gliders, which again, there's a lot of tracks where you don't see the glider, you don't know anything about it. But this one, I don't know. You just have to just put that aside and just say, you know what? I have a normal glider that looks just like this, just less blocky. But again, its coverage is crazy. We're talking about 84 tracks left to see. It's already in our top 5, which is insane. Does have some overlap to be aware of. Wonderful diamond. This one has a lot of overlap with other top 10 items for whatever it's worth. 6 times with the Festive Holly, 5 times with the Calico Toby and Balloons, and the yellow hard hat. So there are some meta items here, so just be aware of that. Now, if you haven't invested, I think for me, of those of the Wonderful Diamond and Festive Holly and Calico Toe Beam balloons and Yellow Hard Hat. I've only personally invested into the Calico Toe Beam balloons. So, for me, maybe I wouldn't be afraid of the 8-bit Super Glider. But if you invested into 2 or 3 of those, man, I would probably hold back and just say, you know what? It's okay. It's probably doing well over there, but it's not going to do well for me. We've already talked a lot about the Wonderful Diamond. It is number 4 on the list, 27 assumed tracks, 8 nitro, 54 tracks left to see, which is really, really good. This pairing covers 116 of the 320 tracks. Starting to see some autumn leaves in that in those pairings, which for what it's worth, it is a top 10 glider. Some interesting overlap though with the Parapanini and the Rainbow Fair Flyer, the Festive Holly, and that 8-bit Super Glider we've been talking a lot about. So I don't know. I'm not too concerned about the overlap as I see it there. That's a lot though to have 7 times. So if any of those 4 items that overlap 7 times is one that you're all in on, maybe you don't go into it. But I think Wonderful Diamond is one of the top gliders right now. I think it's well worth investing in if you haven't already. And for ranked, it's actually a pretty decent one to invest in. Now, Black Star Shoot. This one's really close to my heart. 32 assumed tracks, 16 nitro, up 5 spots to number 3. 4 tracks left to see. This pairing covers 116 of the 320 tracks. There is some crazy overlap here. You see that 10 tracks overlap with the Boom Mask. If you have invested into the Boom Mask, I would just call the Black Star Shoot to just say, you know what, I'm probably not going to benefit from all that love that it's getting, but that's okay because you're going to lose 10 tracks right off the bat if you invest in it, which is like a fourth of its track. So that is a little bit concerning. 9 overlaps with the 8-bit Bullet Bill, 6 overlaps with the Flyberry Book, and 6 times with the Lava Rocks. At number 2, the Yellow Hard Hat, still a really strong glider, still a ranked option, still definitely well worth investing in. We just had one that just made an absolute crazy push this tour. But Yellow Hard Hat, 29 assumed tracks, 16 nitro, still a decent number of tracks left to see. 29 assumed tracks, still has some good pairings with some of the 8-bit items, the mushrooms and golden wings. So 114 of the 320 tracks. There's overlap 7 times with the autumn leaves, 6 times with the fuzzy kite, and 5 times with the 8-bit Super. Then, as we talked about, at number 1, Wonderful Garnet, up 30 spots. I'm sorry, up 1 spot. 30 assumed tracks, 18 nitro, 15 tracks up to see. This is a great, both gem-related gliders are doing really well for you. This is a great glider, well worth investing in.
Wicked Topaz?
Wicked Topaz in rank this week. So, or next week.
It is, isn't it?
So, yeah, we got all 3 gems doing pretty well this tour, to be honest with you. I'm personally using the Wicked Topaz at least. For glider overlap, though, we do have the Parapanini and the Nabbit. I won't say oil paper, but it's the parachute. And then 6 times with the pink checkered glider. So, overall, I mean, I don't know. I don't see a lot of people going into the Nabbit, but if you did, 7's a decent number. I think Wonderful Garnet, Wonderful Diamond, doing really well. This is like their tour. I like it a lot. Black Star Shoot though is crushing it. With that being said, if you're looking at the raw score, it's pretty neck and neck. It's probably why Wonderful Garnet went right over Yellow Hard Hat. They're less than 2 points away from each other, but really it's pretty tight. I mean, we're almost all in the 90s for the top 7, and then really like even the top 10, all within 88 or above. But to rank out the top 15, Sakura Origami Glider at 11, Record Setter at 12, Rainbow Fair Flyer at 13, Green Cat Parafoil at 14, and Mario's Hat Balloon. I do have to give a little shout out to that Record Setter, which it's actually the oldest glider up there for sure. But happy to see it doing well. Happy to see special items still staying alive. Antilev, what's your thoughts, man?
Yeah, no, pretty straightforward here. You see the 2 gliders which got the best buffs, the Black Star Shoot and 8-bit Super Glider, are jumping up. Festive Holly also got a nice buff. A lot of people are asking, why is such and such glider so low? Like Fuzzy Kite is only 23rd. It's really, really tight, especially in this kind of 15 to 25 range. The difference in score between the 15th highest glider, Mario's Hat Balloon, and the 25th highest glider, Lava Rocks, is less than 3 points. Lava Rocks is 81.66, and Mario's Hat Balloon is 84.49. So it's not that a glider is bad if it's just outside the top 15. It's just really competitive for these top gliders. They're all getting somewhere in the high 20s, low 30s of tracks. There's not a lot setting them apart.
Yeah, and as always, with all these items, highly recommend you taking a look at the different spreadsheets that are out there. That's probably the best recommendation. This is just to help people kind of who busy and don't have time to check that out and just kind of want to get a good snapshot. This will give you as good information without filling out your spreadsheet for you. So it's always best to fill out your own spreadsheet, though. There we go. So with that being said, the top movers and shakers, we got the Blue Mii racing suit going up 20 spots to number 57. Okay. We got Pink Gold Beach, 15 spots to 114. I saw some people even on Reddit saying, like, should I invest in her? I don't know. No, probably not. She was great. She was great. We have to show her a lot of respect. But she's gone. She's done. Cat Mario at 14 spots up to 40. Roaring Racer did go up 10 spots to 29, kind of high there, which some people have been looking at him for one of the ranked tracks. Lemmy Mii Racing Suit up 10 spots to 64. Daisy Mii up 8 spots to 75. Toad Tourist up 7 spots to 43. That's probably where I'll draw the line. For karts, we got the DKL Streamliner. We kind of talked about that, getting 2 non-city buffs. Gotta love that. 38 spots, though. Fortunately, it's still 144. Frostwing, we talked about that, getting 2 non-city buffs. One of which was in ranked, up 35 spots to 105. The red B-Dasher Mark II, it is in ranked, 23 spots to 74. Got the Mach 8R, got 18 spots to 49, which is pretty high for a newer item there. That's probably where I'll draw the line. The White Bruiser up 16 spots to 71. I really like that. I really like that card for an older card. I'm using it a lot for All Cup ranking this tour, which is kind of surprising. For most improved gliders, we've been talking about the Boo Masks not winning that race, but it actually had a pretty good tour, all things considered. Up 16 spots to 27, so still just inside of our top 30. Then we did get the Icy Mario's Mustache up 11 spots to 23. Tropical Balloons up 11 spots to 33. Icy's Mustache was 23 and Tropical Balloons was 33. White Waves Origami Glider up 11 spots to 44. Rainbow Fair Flyer, we talked about this one. It's actually one of the bigger jumpers. It cut its lead in half nearly. It's up to number 13 right now, but it went up 10 spots, which is pretty crazy. And then Green Cat Parafoil went up 8 spots to 14. Gotta love that. For ranked, there's not a lot of unlocks, but the ones that are unlocked are maybe appetizing to you because they're kind of newer items. Between the Goldfish Bone Fairy getting Rome Avanti at level 8, and then for Chain Chomp Chariot at level 3, might be worth it for you, getting Rome Avanti 2R at level 3. And then for the Mario Bros. Parafoil, level 8, got the Moonview Highway, probably not.
You can't get it to level until week 2 anyway.
So, boo-hoo. Nice job, Nintendo, for screwing us on that one. We do have, for week 2, we got the Funky Kong Cup. Gotta love that. Of course, you can use Funky if you want to, because it's his cup, it's his rules, his game. Got the Gold Flappy Wings, Gold Wonderful Wings at level 8 unlock. For Rome Avanti 2T, you got Donkey Kong Gladiator, level 8. If you want to go in on him, he could really help you out. It's just level 8, man. That's too much for even my blood, and I'm definitely considered a whale. Chain Chomp Chariot, though, level 8 unlock for Rome Avanti 2T. Nice track there for it, but again, level 8, man. We just don't have that luxury unless you're going for top 10, top 100, top 1000. Then you also get the benefit of going for ranked. For Rome Avanti RT, I will take that back. I did see Frenzy Fangirl going all in on Chain Chomp Chariot, level 8, like quad cap. I think she absolutely loves it. So shout out to Frenzy Fangirl. For Rome Avanti RT, we got Donkey Kong Gladiator level 3. That's a little bit more practical. That might be worth it for you, especially because that is it could be a harder track for you to cover. Yeehaw Wagon level 6 unlock, and then the Rainbow Wonderful Wings level 6 unlock. I'm not calling it Rainbow Flappy. I'm not doing it. For the multiple features here, we got Donkey Kong Gladiator used 4 times. So if you got, I'm sorry, Spartacon. I get a slap on the wrist for that one. That's on me, man. Level 8 unlock, which you probably don't have the option of, but with that level 3, which is super practical, you can use him 3 times. So if you're like so close to either level 80, so tier 80, because you want to get that gold Mii suit, or maybe you're so close to tier 99, feel free to invest in him, man. Some of these drivers, it's all kind of like short-term value anyway. If you have to do it, this is the tour to do it. Light green Mii racing suit, 2 tracks there in ranked. Toad Tourist 2 as well. For carts, man, this Chain Chomp Chariot 4 times thanks to that level 8 unlock and the level 3 unlock. And then a number of carts used twice, including Classic B Dasher Mark II, Fishbone Fairy, My Lightning McQueen, Gold Fishbone Fairy, and the Yeehaw wagon. Yeehaw! Gliders, we got Rainbow Wonderful Wings. You use it 4 times. The Mario Bros. Parapro, which we're both big fans of. Thanks to that level 8 unlock, you can use 3 times. Your Fuzzy Kite, you can use 2 times straight up. And then Gold Wonderful Wings, use 2 times thanks to that level 8 unlock. So there you go, guys. That's your insight for ranked. Sorry it's a little late. Hopefully that information helps you out. And then for All Cup ranking, some of our MVPs. You got Donkey Kong, Sparta Kong 12 times. That's right. He's got unlocks everywhere. He is all over this city tour. So again, if you're going to go all in on him, you have to go on all this tour or just wait because he's got all city action, which is perfect for this tour. Like literally 12 tracks worth of perfect. But if you don't go this tour, guys, it could be a little tough for a while. You do have the Reindeer Mii racing suit. Has nothing to do with anything. 9 times. I mean, am I missing something? Why reindeer? What's going on there? Dry Bones Mii racing suit, Piranha Plant Mii racing suit, Santa Mii racing suit, Luigi Vacation, and Light Green Mii racing suit, all used 8 times in All Cup ranking this tour. A number of drivers used 7 times, including Chain Chomp Mii, Green Mii, Hammer Bro Mii, Iggy Mii, Larry Mii, Mario Musician, Luigi Mii, Yellow Mii, Mario King, Roaring Racer Mii, and Fishbone Mii. A lot of Mii's on that list. We got this Mii takeover. It's Mirio Kart. We got carts here. Fishbone Fairy used 12 times. Whew, wow. If someone's doing that, let me know. That seems daunting. We got Chain Chomp Chariot, though, 11 times, alongside the gold version of that Fishbone Fairy, and the Yeehaw wagon, 11 times, all 3 of those. Then we got Blue Speeder, used 8 times as well. For the gliders, you got some Wonderful Wing variants between the Rainbow Wonderful Wings 12 times, the Gold Wonderful Wings 11 times, and then the Mario Bros. Parafoil 10 times. Pokemanta and the Silver Surfmaster. I haven't talked about the Silver Surfmaster in forever, man. 7 times. That's crazy. All right, guys. So there we go. Let me see if did I miss anything in the chat? Anyone going for top 10, going for top 100? We're rooting for you guys. Hopefully you're doing well. Well, thank you guys. That is the end of our episode. Antilev, why don't you say goodbye to your fans? Any lasting comments? I will say for me, my takeaways from this tour, for those who are looking at Gold Luigi Knight or DK Gladiator, I think if you are going for top something this tour, Gladiator has to get your attention. He just has to. But just know that the Mii's are there. They're taking over. And maybe you're burnt out on Boomerang. To think about Boomerang 13 tracks, all with him, seems exhausting, let alone the other Boomerang drivers you have, like Toad Astronaut, some Mii's, the PD, the Larry, etc. So my personal opinion, that's just too much boomboxing. That's going to be really tough. I think at the end of the day, a lot of us still feel like Coinbox is king. So maybe Luigi Gold Knight, still your guy. I think though at the end of the day, I still want to always it's my duty, my responsibility to still hype up the Mii's. It's never too late to jump on the Mii train. I think from my perspective, what I'll be doing, I won't be throwing tickets on either one of those non-Mii's. I probably, if I can get away with it, not throw any driver tickets this tour. Do a little wait and see approach. This is a saving tour for me. Grind some EXP, enjoy these night tracks. There's plenty of EXP to go around with the new tracks, especially the cities. So start with the cities. My recommendation, I just grind until I only go on 200 CCs, which will get you those levels faster. And then I just stop when I get to like 1, when it won't go up more than 1%. Sometimes it starts at like 2 or 3, and we'll slowly whittle down to 1. I'll just go around, do all the tracks to 1 left, because then it's kind of diminishing return. That's kind of where I set my diminishing return. And then if I have time, I'll circle back and do some more. But I think for me, I just want to get the largest chunks and walk away going up maybe 5 experience levels this tour. Not everyone likes going up and grinding EXP, but this is a fun tour to do it. Rome, the track is awesome. They did a great job with DK Spartacong. And yeah, overall, guys, just enjoy this tour. There's so much to enjoy. Antilev, what would you like to say to your fans? What kind of lasting points would you like to make?
No, I'm like, again, if you're, it's a good point what you make. If you're not heavily invested in these, you still can. Like my free play account, like I was kind of not really paying a lot of attention to them, but I'm starting to slowly accumulate them. You know, it's still, that path is still kind of open for me. So you think about it as well. But I mean, I think both of the new plus skill drivers, Gold Luigi and Spartacon, they'll both be. It's not a mistake to invest in them. You will get good value out of both of them if you do. If you're a fan of them, feel free to use your tickets on them. You will get a lot out of them in the coming months. So don't worry. Don't overthink it. You know, it's the first new coin box driver we've had in ages. This is the first DKL we've ever had. I don't think Nintendo is going to do either one of them dirty. One thing I would say, if Wiggler or another driver comes out with coin box in the next tour or two, I would say that maybe once you would want to reconsider investing in Gold Knight. When you have 2 coin boxes close together, they tend to compete with one another. And I think Wiggler will probably be a large hitbox compared to Luigi Gold Knight, who is a medium. I don't think he'll be coin box, but you maybe want to wait until you see what skill Wiggler is going to have before you take that leap.
Awesome. Yeah, good guys. Appreciate that. So we've had, concurrently up to I think over 100 viewers. And so far we've had this viewed already nearly 500 times. There's currently 80 people in our live stream. So thank you to those 80 people. You guys are awesome. This is why we did it live, is because it's so fun to engage with you guys, ask great questions. And let's long live Spartacon. Let's go, baby. Till next time, may the frenzy luck be with you. See you guys.
Bye, guys. Bye.